Oh, geez. I just started choking to death just as we were going live. Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. And I'm here with Richard Embree. This is your glorious return. Haven't talked to you in a while.
Yeah, man. It's we had that almost infamous
Yeah, it caused quite a stir.
conversation.
You got me at my angriest,
Yeah, it was a
I got
honest
me.
conversation that a
I
lot of
got
people.
mean, mad, fighting, mad, mean. To
Yeah, they
paraphrase
really,
Grapes of Wrath.
they really like picking on hobbyists, man. It's weird.
Yeah, guys got a little nasty with me, so I said, you know what? I'm gonna indulge myself. And it's funny because a couple of guys that I was friendly with, like out of context, they just saw me and they're like, "What happened? Why'd you turn into such a prick?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I just woke up and decided to be a prick." You know what I mean? Like, thanks for
It's that New
looking
York.
into everything. But people were kind of nasty, and I've since learned that when you respond to everything, all you do is feeding it.
Yeah,
So my New Year's resolution is to just forget about it. It's all nonsense. It's all irrelevant. Nobody cares. It's a
Yeah.
small group of people that they're not even making comics, so who gives a crap?
yeah. I came to the same conclusion because, like, you
Yeah,
can go to any Comic Con, right? Any Comic Con right now, and the focus is on comics, right?
Right.
No one cares about any of this internet tribalism. No one cares about it. It's
even
only
knows about it.
Yeah. So if you give it attention and you do that, and if people are still there having fun or whatever, I'm not the fun police. I don't care. I care about comics. I care about indie comics. I care about making and promoting indie comics. And there's
One guy, and I'm not going to mention names, but one guy was busting my balls, and it really bothered me because I don't understand why. We were friendly, and then just started busting my balls. I really, really don't understand. I blame it to like some sort of like autism that I just don't get. And
yeah.
his comic failed, and then everybody was like, "Oh, you're gonna bust his balls now?" And I said, "No." I said, the guy's talented. I don't know why he busted my balls, but he's a talented guy. I was looking forward to the comic, and so I reached out to him and said, "Everybody's telling me to make fun of you, but I'm not going to do it. You're, for whatever reason, you don't like me now or whatever." And but I was rooting for you, and it's a shame that your comic didn't fund. And then he says truce, and I was like, "Well, the truce implies that we were fighting. You were fighting. I wasn't." But I don't understand this. What are the all these allies in World War I that caused, there was a term for that, balkanization or whatever. I just don't get it.
I think it's people are scared. They're scared to be independent. They need a team. They need a hug box. And sometimes internet community will provide that for them. But instead of just like that, I've liked working with others, but when it comes down to it, making comics, it's an individual thing, man. Like you take all the accountability, you take all the responsibility, even though it's a team project. If you're the one paying for it, it's on you, man. You got to make it happen. So
absolutely. I rewatched our talk and I realized I came off like a raving lunatic and you came out like a very wise sage. So
I don't really pick on me that much, but they still pick on me, I guess when they can get the little cheap shots or whatever.
I don't want to keep talking about them, but I noticed that it's like crabs in a bucket now. They're all attacking each other, and I said this for a while. Stop responding. Stop jumping when they they need some views. They need some super chats. So John's Long Box, Richard Embree, blah 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 blah, and then we respond. It's like whack-a-mole, and then they laugh. So I just said I said this to you. I said this to a bunch of people, and then I ignored my own advice because I'm a flawed human.
Yeah.
I said, stop giving them a target. Like if you respond, John's Long Box is broke. John's Long Box is broke. If I keep defending myself, all I'm doing is reinforcing it. Like once you defend yourself, you've lost. So it turns out the guy who calls me that is the broke ass one. But I knew that from the beginning.
Yeah.
And then one of the main targets, and again, I'm purposely being vague. You guys know who I'm talking about, but I'm purposely being vague. One of the main targets just said, "I'm leaving Twitter." And I noticed I don't respond anymore. You don't respond anymore. The other guy that I'm talking about doesn't respond anymore, left Twitter. What are they doing? They're attacking each other.
Mm.
You know, they need to fight because they're not interesting. They're not offering products that people like. You know, so just it's working. It's my plan. It's my just
Yeah.
let them destroy each other. And like you said, you go to a Comic-Con. I'm seeing people talk about comics. People are buying back issues. People, indie guys are cleaning up. Like Vaughn Coleman goes to a Comic-Con and he's like, I saw this. You got to get going.
Here's the thing that people don't realize. There's hundreds of Vaughn Colemans out there that you never heard of.
Right.
But they're going to these internet, not even internet. I'm sorry. They're going to these conventions and they're cleaning up.
Right.
I've seen them before. I ran ever was on Indiegogo. These guys would go there and they're like, damn, we didn't print enough because we sold like 300 copies of our book that we thought was going to last us the 3-day weekend. Saturday afternoon, they're out of there.
Right.
Because they sold out. They're like, we have nothing to sell. So we're just going to walk around with a pocket full of money. They didn't expect to sell that much. So there's those guys that, all right, next time we're coming back, we're going to do this and we're going to have more of issue too, so.
Right. I'm in, like Vaughn has been just defiantly busting my balls. You got to start going to comic conventions. But in my defense, I got a full-time job, and then if I work overtime during the weekend, that's a lot of money. But anyway, I think now he's right. So I put in an order for a banner. I'm putting up a Fund My Comic permanent store so I can make cards, because I do campaigns. And then the campaigns expired, and I'm handing out cards to expired campaigns. So I'll make it a permanent store. I'm talking with
website, bro.
You know what I mean? It's time to start hitting conventions.
Shopify, John. Get yourself a Shopify, man.
They're
affordable. Like that's what it is. ForgePublishing.com. It's a Shopify. So
how much is that?
It's like around like $30 a month,
but the thing about Fund My Comic is it doesn't cost me anything unless I sell stuff. And they take like 1%.
Oh,
so,
yeah, if you can do that. I mean, if you want to do that.
If I let's be realistic.
If you put in store mode, you could do that.
Yeah. Am I gonna make more than $30 a month to justify Shopify? So Luke, he sets it up to help guys like me. It doesn't cost me anything unless I'm selling. So that's plus I like Luke. He's drawn one of my stories.
He's been a champ. See, that's where in how Luke moves, he tries to avoid controversy. He just wants to help indie. Like this past year, I had to take a step back and start learning from these people. You know what I mean? The people that are doing it right. You got like people like Mike Barron. They're doing it right, bro. Like Mike Barron, he's cool with everyone. He navigates in everyone. He cares about comics. He cares about money. Cares about the craft.
I look at Mike Barron, and I this is gonna sound mean, but I mean it in the best. He's a mercenary. You want to hire him? He's a gun for hire. He'll work for these guys. He'll work for these. He's working for Ripper. He's working for Comicsgate. He's
operating.
He just
in the business of business. He's non-emotional. You don't know if he's mad. You don't know if this, and he saves the emotions off the internet.
Right.
And maybe he has that private conversation with his wife, whatever. But like that's a lot to be learned. Because there are a lot of people that got burned. They put money down for campaign. They got burned, and now they're getting like pushed aside and stuff. And look at you could look at like Raptor's channel, man. Those are all customers of crowdfunding, where crowdfunding has failed them, and they're not going to buy anyone else. So there's this crazy thing. It's more of a like just a gathering of no. I was a customer and I was disrespected, so I'm going to go amongst other people. Sometimes they promote, sometimes they don't, but that's where that big chunk is missing, and a lot of people don't know that, or they refuse to acknowledge that a lot of the big customers, the big whales, have been ran out,
right?
Because it turned into blood sports instead of comics. And like if you go to a convention, no one cares about blood sports; they care about comics, old comics, new comics, indie comics.
Right.
That's the mindset I wanted to adapt.
Yeah. I got into trouble with Comicsgate twice, and the second one seemed to have really stuck because I think I hit the nail on the target. First time I criticized nobody cares about Trashcast. It's not helping comics. And boom, that was my first wallop. You know, I shouldn't have. John, I'm sick of you always criticizing me. I was just like, I don't care about Trashcast. I don't tune in to Comicsgate to hear bad stuff about Ripper. You know, I turned into Comicsgate because I thought we were talking about Chanu and, you know, and Bronze Star and all your comic. You know, that's what I thought we were talking about. I didn't realize it was all about hate. So I said, whatever. And then the second time I said, we, Comicsgate, we need to up our game. We need to police ourselves. We need to kick out the bad actors. We need to get the books out on time. We need to stop with these defaulted campaigns. You know, this was right after Rob Hunter's Death Raider came out, who I still like the guy. The guy was a cool guy. I didn't realize at the time that he was tracing and, you know, whatever. But he got hoodwinked by this, you're funding my lifestyle. You know, I'm not funding anybody. Don't tell me why I'm giving you money. I'm giving you money because I want a freaking comic book.
Yeah.
You know, your lifestyle, I don't give a crap about your lifestyle. I don't give a crap if you live in a mansion. I don't give a crap if you live in a van by a river. What I care about is a comic book, and make that freaking comic book. You know, that was a couple of guys. I was just like, no, that is such an entitled. You guys are Michelangelo. You guys are Leonardo da Vinci. That, you know, you deserve to, you know, just sit there and I feel like painting today and I feel like doing this today while living in a, you know, a plaza. No, get up. Produce, make a comic book. You want a great lifestyle, churn out that machine. I got to go to work and get in the freaking mud pit, you know, and spin galvanized pipes all freaking day long to have my lifestyle, you know.
Yeah.
Nobody's deserved to have their lifestyle funded. What you want is you're selling a freaking product, and I criticized that, and boom, that was it. I was bad guy number one until you became bad guy number one for a little while. Took the heat off me, so thank you for that.
Yeah, that's what you know. They need scapegoats all the time. So
right. And now they're hitting on each other. I just want to acknowledge the chat, Ben. You bring all the boys to the yard, just like my milkshake over here. So Plunge Comics says, been wanting to hear from Richard Embree for a while, so this is good times any. Cheers, John's Longbox. Have a Rich on. You got it. Yeah, I enjoy talking about it.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, brother. Monkey King of Zoolandia. Hey, how you doing? Look at that. I'm actually awake at 7 a.m. on a Tuesday, able to catch this live. There you go. People are saying hello. My comic. Oh, this is fun. My comic.
Yeah, that's the link for Teleflats if anyone wants to get $5 comic, man. Western Revenge.
Yeah, I used to say that I had the best value in crowdfunding. You undercut me, which is another thing.
That made me an enemy, though. Yeah,
we're supposed to hate each other. How dare you?
No, because I didn't sell a comic for $25. I sold a $5 comic.
I got it when somebody said that John's Longbox undercutting all of our value by selling his comic for $10. I'm like, bitch, this is the free market.
Yeah. Everyone wants to be a capitalist until it's time to be a capitalist.
Right. I always say that to guys at work. Everybody's like, I'm so dirty. I watched The Big Bang Theory. I was like, all right, this week we're playing Warhammer, paint some minis, and they all look at me and go, oh, everybody wants to be a nerd until it's time to do some nerd shit.
Time to do nerd shit. Yeah.
So your comic is still available, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been so this is what I feel, right? Like, I feel that the most important thing you could do is make sure you secure the funds so the project can come out, so it can be fulfilled. You know, there's been some setbacks, you know, in the personal life that I, you know, really don't put on the internet, but I'm working through it, and it's gonna get delivered, man. I'm gonna make sure that it does, you know. So
right.
There's you know, it's this isn't my first rodeo. You know, I figured it out. I had some bumps in the roads, overcame them, and now it's you know, you're looking for more obstacles or red flags and putting out the fires before they even become anything. Right. So that's what I've been doing.
The Incredibles, luck favors the prepared, you know. Yeah, so you got to prepare. You know, the first time I made my campaign, I had no concept of what I was doing. It's a miracle it even came out. It's a miracle it was even halfway good. And it was a lot of fun, but it was scary. And I liked it. Now, my next crowdfund, I could launch it right now. We're about 40% done. And usually I waited till I had like 10 pages and then I launched the campaign.
Yeah.
I'm I don't need the money. I just fulfilled my other comic a month ago. So I'm going to wait until the comic's done. Yeah. and then that way we reduce any obstacles that we may have. But
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I know people that need crowdfunding for their lifestyle or whatever. Or there's actually people that have been proven to be good stewards with the money that they raised, like the
right,
Graham Nolans,
right,
the Billy Tucci's, the Art, T-Bear, Andy Smith, like very, very talented people that have been honest and good stewards with that makes you do feel respected, right?
right.
And
Yeah,
so,
Graham Nolan. I had a little words with when he was like, "You funded my lifestyle." I was like, "No, I'm not. Don't tell me why I'm giving you money. I know why I'm giving you money. I want to buy a comic book." But other than that, he's like the gold standard. Billy Tucci, and Billy Tucci lives by me. We went out a few times. Yeah,
yeah. So I would say that.
I was gonna say he goes to conventions. He does everything. He does everything right. Yeah.
Another mercenary who's just a mercenary for the craft, and I think that's what we need more of. But for me and you, we don't have that. I'll speak for me. I don't feel that I have that trust yet with the audience. So
You got to earn it. Yeah.
Easier. It's a lot easier, even though I have 3 campaigns fulfilled, no issues, no nothing. Right? It's easier still for me to complete the comic, and people know that they're going to get the comic's already done and it's going to ship. With this Talent Flats, actually having it as a crowdfund, it's the situation where things happen and you have to overcome obstacles. Now, am I overcoming the obstacles without the people's money in my pocket already, or am I overcoming them with the people's? And it's more stressful with the people's money in my pocket. So I rather just overcome everything, make sure it's there,
right,
and then be able to deliver. So
right. Like I another person who's he's like it's like Bloody Mary. You mention his name, he shows up. But so I'm not even going to mention his name. But I had a famous talk with this guy, and I said the campaign isn't successful until you shipped out the comic. You know what I mean? If you're promising X, I don't care how much money you raised. And he goes, no, that means it's a success. I'm like, no, that means you got money. It's not a success until a campaign is all parts of a campaign. It's preparing, it's creating the product, it's promoting the product, it's collecting the money from the product, it's allocating that money to where it needs to go, and most importantly, it's making sure that the customers get that product. I hate using the word product because it's so impersonal, but we could be talking about computers, comic books, whatever. And he's like, no, a campaign's successful when you get them. I'm like, that tells me your line of thinking. My line of thinking is it's not successful until people get it. And because of that money ain't yours.
Yeah.
I don't touch any of the money in my campaign until 2 weeks after the last package has been mailed out, because I don't know if Richard Embree's comic is going to come damaged and he wants a replacement. I don't know if Richard Embree's comic is going to get lost in the mail and I got to send him another one. Mm-hmm. Things like that. And then you can touch that money. And if you are so hurting that you need that money, you got to do something. If you have a campaign and you need that money tomorrow, man, this is the wrong business for you. You got to be patient. You got to, have your ducks in your row. You got to have everything figured out before you hit launch on that campaign. Because if you are spending that money, mentally allocating that money, I got a mortgage bill to pay, I got this, while the campaign's going, that you're failed. That's why I discourage professional YouTubers from doing this stuff, because you don't have a steady source of income. You don't have medical, you can't go to the dentist. You can't do any of that stuff. I do it as a fun side gig. So I'm not dependent upon it.
Well, it's about cash flow, right? If you're going to do this as a company, you need to have capital for cash flow to make things run while you're also
correct
in spending, and you got to separate yourself from the actual money, right? So it's like, this goes to this goes to my, and then you pay yourself a salary if you're raising that much money. But
the only person not making money on my comics is me. Everybody else, getting paid.
And then that's usually how it is, because until you get to a certain stature, a certain have a certain legacy, that's just the way it is. But with this, it's crowdfunding and sales are I feel they're different, right? It's two different entities, right? Because a sale is like I go to Walmart, I buy something, that's a sale.
Right.
They sold me something, I have a product. Like this is like just glorified charity, you know? Because it's like you always hear that defense. This isn't pre-order. This is crowdfunding. You're spending money for to form a dream of something. It's like, bro,
not me. I'm buying a comic book. I'm willing to wait.
Well, that's where the customer's mindset is like, well, I don't want to do that. So who has their comic
ready?
That's
what they're trying to tell us.
Yeah,
that's what they're trying to tell us. You know, I don't care. And if I'm wrong, if people in the chat watching this, I have a feeling a bunch of people are going to be watching this later on. Let me know if I'm correct or if I'm incorrect. But whenever I crowdfund, it's because I want the freaking comic book. If I like you, Richard Embree, I'll super chat you. You know what I mean? That's like, hey, that's for being a good YouTuber. That's whatever, you know, whatever.
You're entertaining me tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. If I want your book, so crowdfunding, it's my way of thinking, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe that's why my comics always ship, it's, you know, you're buying a comic book, you're pre-ordering. I don't care what anybody says, you know, it's pre-ordering to my way of thinking. And because of that, that money goes to that comic book and only that comic book. You know, if I need money for my lifestyle, go out and drive Uber, go out and DoorDash for a little while do it. You know what I mean? That is, you know, not fortunately, I did it myself. I got myself a nice, decent job where I can make comic books and I can, you know, not touch the money until it's time to touch the money.
Yeah. So either that's what I feel is like it is, you know, if it starts to feel that way for some of the customers, because I started to feel that way as a customer. And like I said, that's what separates the different people, the creators that are good stewards with this money.
Right. There are.
You know, and that get tied up in crowdfunding, you know, whether they're a certain affiliated with a certain group or not, you know, they get tied up in crowdfunding because people's experience with crowdfunding is people's experience. They don't separate that. They just, last time I did a crowdfund, or, you know, because you hear that a lot. It's like, I'll buy it when it fulfills.
Yeah, I had a lot of people, and I got teased for saying this, but I mean, you know, the truth is the truth. I like you. I watch your channel, but I'm not buying your book until it comes out.
And that they've been hurt from.
And I don't blame them. I'm like, I can't even get mad at that. I can't even get mad at that.
Right. The customer is right. Right. And you know what? The fact that they share that with you is great, because we don't know that as creators. We're sitting on the outside like, how come this isn't going? And they're like, well, if you know, so the fact that they share that, and I've had that too. Now, when I hear that, I think, okay, that's a couple, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, wait a minute. So how many people are really thinking that, but without telling me? You know, just because they don't know me, or they don't feel like they have that rapport with me to tell me, you know, because a lot of people are different when their approaches, but they
a lot of people say like, oh, dude, I got off the internet 2 years ago. I didn't know you were making a comic. You know, because they just got discouraged from all the negative, you know, and a lot of guys is like, I gave up on comics, YouTube, and I just go to comic book stores and I buy back issues, you know. So that's why I think it's important to get into comic book stores, to get into conventions, because it's a thriving hobby. It's just not a thriving YouTube hobby.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to address this. Does CG even matter? No, it absolutely doesn't matter. Look at the new campaigns that aren't raising anything. A new CG campaign used to make like $10,000 on its opening stream. Now they're not even hitting their funding goal. Like, I'll postulate this, and I'm sure somebody will find something. But who besides the kings in CG that make comics are still making comics? You know, everybody who left or got kicked out or ostracized or whatever word you want to say, betrayed, backstabbed, they're still making comics. Richard, myself, you know, other people, we're still making comics. You know, they're still making comics. But the guys who stayed loyal and whatever, they're not funding and they're gone. Another guy just quit comics who's making a major book. He's like, I'm done. You know, but look at Iconic. They have their own conventions. Look at Ripper. They're having their own conventions, and you know what I mean? So do people desire? I can't speak what people desire, but I
think what it
I
is,
have people that told me I don't care about comics. I just like the drama.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Like David said something. What's up, David? He says, like right here, he says CG was a ton of fun and slowly faded away. So people had fun talking about comics, backing comics, being in the conversation of comics. When it changed to blood sports, people are just like, oh, that I'm not having fun. I'm gonna go find something that's fun, right? And you have, I mean, like let's be real. You have video games, you have streaming, you have tabletop gaming, like other things in that are doing everything, spending millions and millions, if not billions, to get your attention. These companies, entertainment companies, they're spending billions to get your attention, and so this internet back and forth that people don't find entertaining, they're just going to go and find something. And guess what? These companies that are spending billions to just get your attention, they deliver with their product. You're getting it. So it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess that was just a phase. That was fun during COVID, but let me go out and do this.
Right. I've been saying this for a while too, is we are living in an instant gratification culture, like it or not. And people want what they want. They want it right now. I want McDonald's. I'm getting my McDonald's. I want, this. Comic books are supposed to be part of that. Now, I want my comic book. I paid for my comic book. I'm sorry that I made you wait 4 or 5 months for my comic book, and I'm trying to launch my campaigns when I'm more completion to solve that problem, and I want to do more and more. So I'm trying to recognize that I'm at the point now where I can do something about it. But for the mainstream, the big wigs, I'm paying money for a comic book, and then I'm waiting 4 or 5 years. You might as well be done, because now they're moving on to stream, whatever, buying a board game. People want that instant gratification. Now, is that instant gratification is kind of a bad thing? There's something to be said for being patient. Patience is a virtue, but that doesn't foster the hobby. That doesn't pay the work.
Here's where customers are dwindling out, John. This is my theory, right? The economy is not what it used to be, right? So if I spent $25 on a comic, right, and it hasn't came yet, and I'm like, man, I'm $25 short of going out to eat for a steak dinner. What the, Yeah. So now I get a certain resentment, right? And now that 25 is really 75 because there's 3 campaigns that haven't fulfilled. And that 75 is really 100 because I got a shirt too, or you know what I mean? And I'm sitting there like, dang, $100 and I still haven't got nothing. And man, but it has a certain feeling, right? And it's not so much instant gratification, but it's, man, that my money could have went to somewhere else, right? And then people have that, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Well, guess what? It's not shame on me no more. I'm gonna go make sure I buy.
Like I just spent $25 because I wanted something. Oh, that struck my eye. It was cool. And then 5 years later, you're like, I don't care about this anymore.
Yeah,
I should have been on my 4th issue by now. You gotta keep can you imagine if Spider-Man came out once every 5 years? The problem with the Spider-Man movies is there's too many Spider-Man movies. People tired of that guy's origin. I don't want to see Uncle Ben die anymore. That's the I just want to take this opportunity to say Dave Brink, who Genuine Comics,
what's up, Dave?
Drama-free guy, amazing drama-free guy, makes the best superhero comics. I hope that my comic books become a 10th as good as Dave Brink's comics. Check them out. Kickstarter.
Dave weathers the storm. He's just here for comics. He has an opinion, but he's never overdoing it, and he's great, man.
I joke to myself that there's 2 Daves. There's pre-coffee in the morning, a little bit snarky, takes a snipe, and then he has his coffee, and he's a perfect European gentleman. Just Have I ever read any digital comics? I have read digital comics, but it's a Herculean effort for me to read digital comics. I'm an old fart. I like to have my comic book here on my easel, reading, handling it. I'm a tactile guy. I say comic books is like a girl. You don't look, or porn. You want to be touching it and feeling it rather than looking at it. You know what I mean? But that's
I would say this, so in defense of digital comics, when you're going on because when we had the baby, right? That's a lot of time in the hospital room.
Yes.
those digital comics on an iPad were freaking, in between the doctor coming in between this, it was
I carry these little portable things called books.
Oh, okay.
And so I always have a book with me. Right now, I'm reading the Scarlet Pimpernel. Considered to be the first superhero story.
There you go.
But, digital comic, I'm not against them, and I offer them too because I understand people don't want to pay $30 shipping to go to Europe for comics. I was dragged kicking and screaming into it, but Dave Williams, he the negativity got to him. Money in the end. We got a campaign March 2nd, comics in one campaign done that way to save our backers freight costs. It will be cheaper. Yes, yeah.
I wonder if with Dave, right? I wonder if he didn't get the script in time to draw and make money and get paid his page rate.
I don't know. I muted. I turned that guy John Longbox is a pussy. He blocked me. Twitter is supposed to make my day better.
Yeah.
And criticism. Believe me, one of my best friends on Twitter was my harshest critic. And I love that guy because everything he said was absolutely right. He was saying it to make my comic better. And so don't tell me about criticism. Other guys are just like, yo, dude, your comic book sucks. You're an asshole. Why do I want to? Oh, thank you. Give me more. Blocked, move on. You offer nothing. So if you get blocked by me on Twitter, man, you're either a troll or an asshole. Or an asshole troll.
It's all internet.
Yeah.
Bravado. A lot of these guys are fucking sissies in real life.
Yeah, I would like to take credit for Mint Salad and Riley breaking up because he said I got all this time in the world to come visit you at work, and I said come on down. Here's my address. This is where I work, and I laid out my address. I even said when you get to the terminal, go all the way to the right. There's a turnstile. Meet me there. And then all of his psycho fans will just like that's illegal. I said, the guy asked where I worked. I told him where I worked. How is that illegal? And he said, I ain't going to the airport.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, they broke up and she started dating somebody else who shows up at people's houses. So, second guy, come on down to the airport. Come on down. It'll be fun.
Yeah, that's all weird, man.
And they said, we're going to call the head of the security of the port office. I was like, Roy? You're going to call Roy? The guy that I've been having lunch with for 7 years? You're going to call Roy? Go ahead. Roy, this guy's I got this weird call, John. Yeah, I know. I don't like this guy's comic book online, so this guy's going to come. Okay. All right. Thanks. That's the head of security. Man,
it's if you're gonna go somewhere just to not do nothing, then why are you even going? You know what I mean? Like in my younger days, bro, it's like if you're going somewhere, like get busy. The fuck you doing just there? So this whole thing is just dumb, man. I mean, I got a mortgage, I got kids, I don't got time for this. In my 20s, man, we were getting it, man. Like we were getting it. Like we were out there really. So I get what people, but like, why are you bringing a camera? You know what I mean? Like, right. It's just, it's all for show. It's all for reaction. It's all, you know what I mean? I could care less, man. I hope everyone.
I just bought my, this will get, but I just bought my anti showing up at my house stick.
Oh, shit.
Come on down to my house, guys.
That's for fishing, man. That's badass, man.
Yes, it's for fishing. Yes, it's for fishing. So they take so long.
You'd be like, yeah, Embree said fishing. Good cover up, man.
5 years. So I'm doing an experiment. I'm last night I stayed up till 5 o'clock in the morning writing a script for a Christmas comic that I want to try to get in people's hands by Christmas this year. So this is, Renzo is drawing Patriarch #1. He's going to be done next month, and then immediately I want to do a campaign and have a Christmas comic, King Fu Blue Christmas, it's called. So I want to try to see, can I make a comic book and have it in your hands in less than a year? So, but I'm going to try.
I was trying to do 2 comic books in 1 year, but like I said, it was some financial things in the family that happened.
Yeah,
that, it made it not possible. So live, learn. I'm not gonna go on and cry and need to go for me. I'm just gonna figure it out and make sure people get their comic book that they paid $5 for.
I was running the freight cost for a standard Gemini mailer outside New York, New Zealand. Yes, sending stuff to New Zealand was rough. First class international. Yeah. So
$40.
Yeah, so I use my power chip. I do everything from right here. You know, get my gym. Matter of fact, I got a couple of packages of people that just ordered right over here. I'll send them to the post office. Today's a holiday, you know, Martin Luther King Day, so I'll do it tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, one of the things you got to do is I figured out what's the price to send a Gemini mailer from Maine to Washington State, and then I average it out. So I know this is telling people how the sausage is made, but sometimes I'm making a couple of dollars on his shipping, and that helps me allocate to the ones that go to New Zealand. But you can't gouge people either, and that's why I put like stickers and other goodies inside each package. I mean, it's a $10 comic book, and you got a comic book, you got a backing and boarding, you got a bunch of stickers, and you got a couple of free trading cards. I mean, like I said, until Richard made his $5 comic book, I had the best deal in crowdfunding.
But here's the thing, like people thought that was like, oh my God, man, Artist Alley, they've been selling $5 comic books. How is this fucking? It's nothing new, you know. It was just new to the grift. Like, well, if we're being honest, it's new to the grift,
right? Because also they don't have to ship it to you. Here you go. Here you go. They don't.
It's $5. You know,
a Gemini mailer is almost $1 a package. So yeah. that's a
well, with a bag and board and a Gemini, it's like $1 something.
Yeah, bag and board, and then I got to do it. I do it all myself. You know,
that's the fun part, John. Come on, you got
it. It is. It's my wife sits over at the table and she puts on a Hallmark movie and we chit chat. You know, and I get the wrong responses because I'm concentrating. Did I already said Richard this? Did I forget to save it? You know, David Brink got two because I forgot to save all my information, so he got I shipped
so that's where
which is great to accidentally send some to Holland twice.
That's where you know, Comicsgate used to be for me, right? It used to be just tons of fun, man. I'm listening to Comicsgate streams, other promotions, while packaging, while sending it out, and you really felt part of a community. And just that's gone now. That doesn't exist. And
right,
at least it doesn't for me, man. And, you know, if people are out there thinking they can still do it, it's just, but that's dwindling away, man.
Yeah. So to answer the question, it's not relevant anymore. It's done. It's infighting. It's people quitting.
But it was great. It was honestly great while it lasted.
Well, it's fun. I remember.
It was great.
I was working over on the George Washington Bridge, and we had 4 guys working on the span of the bridge. So we didn't see each other until lunchtime. So I would have my headphones on and I would listen to a 7-hour live stream, laughing and having fun. And you know, there's nothing like last night. I was actively looking. I was writing, and I said, I need to take a break. I'm getting foggy, and it's not making sense, and the story's not working. So I need to distract. I like distractions. I think about something else, and then I come back and it's like, oh wow, I wrote the script, and I start all over again. There was nothing to watch on YouTube. I'm like, am I going to watch a Tolkien video again about Tom Bombadil, the newest theory? But you know what I mean? Because there's nothing interesting anymore. It's over. Did I lose you?
No. Yeah, no, I was looking at this where they said it couldn't find the shipping costs on Fund My Comic. If you're looking at my link, one of them is for digital, one of them is for physical. So there won't be a shipping cost on the digital. So, but if you go below that and it's physical, there's no shipping cost.
Yeah, I don't know if you're talking to Richard or if you're talking to me. Yeah. The shipping cost, it's
probably the same for you too, John, because I know you offer digital as well.
And I'm working on, like I said, a permanent store right now. And I had to have somebody else check it out because I don't want you to get, like, if you order 3 things, I don't want you to pay shipping 3 times. You know what I mean? So that's
where the Shopify really works for me. Like I go with Luke for the initial launching of it, and then leftover products, I put them on the website. Like that's like, you know.
Yeah, I'm just too cheap to pay $30 a month. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be 3 months. That's $90.
Here's where it's worked for me, right? It's when you go and you meet people, John, and instead of trying to sell them on Fund My Comic, right? They go to your exact website, and your exact website has the products and they sell it to it. And when I sell a digital comic on my website, right, at the same price, right, you actually get a link to download it, and you download the digital comic right there and are able to read it within minutes.
Yeah,
so that's where it's like I do it to attract new customers. So when I go to a convention, right, and this has happened when you go to a convention and I want that shirt, but it's not, you don't have my size. You know what I do on the website? You can go buy it, and when I get back from this convention, I'll ship it out to you Monday morning. You know, or if I have the wife at home, I'm like, hey, call her, ship it out. We got to order in Shopify. You know, so that's really where it's going about getting new customers, because I feel, like I said, I feel that crowdfunding took a real hit. It's not dead completely, but it took a real hit, and the future is to get a website because I mean that's proven to work before. So that's where it's like, okay, that $30 cost is worth it in the end.
Yeah, I agree.
You get a tax guy. I know you're in New York, bro. You get a good tax guy, get it written off as a hobby. You get well,
it is a business, a hobby business, yeah. Well,
that's where a lot of people get it confused. You know, these people that only made like, and I shouldn't say only, but have made like 25, 30K. It's like, can you live off 35, 20K, or is that a hobby? And that's where a tax person would come in and say, no, it's or 10K. That's a hobby. You made 10K. You can't live off 10K.
Yeah,
not in America. So if you're like in Singapore or somewhere, you're living in those sky rise for like $80 a month, maybe, doing your comics, but not out here, man. So
Genuine Comics says people are prepared to pay more for indie books when they believe in it. Look at Ripper. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. People, Tonic Bowl is, believe it or not, he does a wonderful comic called Saving the World, and he was one of the guys that was telling me that I'm charging too little, not because it undermines him. He was just saying that I'm leaving money at the table. He goes, people, if they like the comic, they're willing to spend more. And he ain't wrong. So far, everything Tonic Bowl has ever told me has been absolutely correct. I ignored everything he's ever said, much to my problem. But I do agree, but I don't know. Like I for Patriarch #1, I do have to raise the price because it's a bigger comic. But I don't want to rip anybody off. I
think it goes by page count too, right? Like
it goes by This is my Patriarch #1 is probably a third bigger than my other two comics, so I have to raise the price. But again, this isn't my income.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. If I could support, if this could support itself, that's which I'm doing so far. Issue 1 supported issue 2. Issue 2 is supporting the next one. So each comic is the next comic, and then I'm trying to talk with people about getting into comic book stores next year or the year after that, and then that's the gravy.
That's what really helped me, right? Because my whole science was it'd be $5 because I'm gonna print a ton of them, right? Where people are printing like 100 or 200, I'm gonna print way more than that, like 10 times more than that, right? So now I have extra copies set aside to go into comic book stores. So I'm constantly ready. I'm constantly ready for shows. I'm constantly ready. So at least with 1 and 2, now I'm gonna start downsizing the print run, and I've with this new economy, man, it's kind of weird. I'm trying to really assess it and see where it's at, but I even thought of just going digital and just putting it on the website, and doing very, very limited runs on like Fund My Comic and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm hearing echo. 20,000 is great, but nothing to live from. A recoups investment for the most. Yes. Yeah. Like even comic book pros. I bet you guys working for Marvel and DC. I bet you comics is their side gig at this point. Gone are the days where you drew Spider-Man and were able to buy a house and send your kids to college. So you got it. I think now these lean years, we're going to be separating the wheat from the chaff, and it's just the people that really love comics, the Dave Brinks, they're going to be the ones making comics. Brian Bow with Wolf and Batsy, because it's a weird side hobby, but like Vaughn Coleman, I don't know how that guy's paying his bills, but if he's doing it through his comic books, they're good for him. But that guy hustles every weekend. He's like busting my chops. John, I'm at a convention by a house. Why aren't you here? Why aren't you here? I'll scoot over and you can sit at my table. He's been nothing but helpful.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. I told him that I wanted to wait until I had 2 issues because it just looks, I got 1 issue with 14 variant covers. You look like a goof. So now I got 2 issues. I got my 3rd issue on the way of a different comic. I'm ordering a banner. I'll start going to conventions now. Start local.
That's cool, man. Like, because I feel that the customer has evolved, right? The customer, because here's the thing that I'm noticing, right? Like, Rook Exodus, one of my favorite comics out right now, right? For $25, I can get, like, it'll take me 5 months, but I get 5 issues of Rook Exodus. So that's like 5 times, there's probably like 20 pages in there, right? So that's 100 pages for $25 and have it within 5 months because I'm collecting single issues, right? Like, when you really break down money in the numbers, waiting for years, 2 years, 2+ years, right? The number can go on for a $25 comic that's only 48 pages, 52 pages, 56 pages. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. And so, and it can even get shipped to you in a pool box, so like you can go out and get the best comic out right now, which I feel it is. And people will you can debate me all you want, because but I think like with Jeff Johns writing it and the artist Jason Fabrook on it, bro, like that's the best comic out right now.
I don't know if you lost me. I don't know, but you just spun out for a while. I don't know if it's my internet or your internet. We're having a snowstorm here in New York.
Oh, okay. I was just saying that the Rook Exodus, right?
Good book.
For $5 for $25, right? You can get 100 pages within 5 months, and every month you're getting 20 more pages, right? So you're not waiting that 5 months. Like that's what we're competing against, right? And so like the paying $25 for 48 pages and 2+ years, the math doesn't add up. No matter how charming you want to be, no matter how cult-like you want to be, it just doesn't add up. That's why customers are bleeding out. Like I feel if more books got delivered, it would help with crowdfunding all around, right? Because that's like not every comic in the comic book world is SJW girl boss,
right?
Cool stuff. It's so that argument is dying out. It's dying out fast.
Yeah. Do you think that woke stuff? Do you think we turned a corner? Do you think that's ending?
I think it was a small percentage of comics, but they did do it with some main So
I agree with that, but they did it with the big wigs. That's how all of these political activists work. Like I remember back in college, we said that only 10% of Americans wanted the Revolutionary War, but it was an active minority. And I think we see this active minority. We assume that the majority. That's how advertising works. 6 or 7 people complain, and then these companies back down because they think it's a lot of people. And I think that's the way it was with comic books.
Like what I said with you, right? With that customer, right? Telling you like, hey man, I'll back it when it's done, right? So that's customer feedback, right? So if the only feedback you're getting because other customers maybe you've just been happy or they're just complaining to their shop owner and continue to buy, right? But when people were actually complaining to the company, like that's the only feedback they got. That's the only insights they got, and they made decisions off of that insight to where like, hey, maybe we should try this. Maybe we should try to win over a crowd more.
Right. And look at comic books in general. Like a couple of, I'm going to stereotype here, but like a couple of women were like, you're not representing me in your comic books. More women. So like all the Marvel people, like they bent out, we got to get more women. But the men were by far buying the comics, and they were happy and content, so there was no reason to complain. You know what I mean? And then they get 600 or 700 complaints, and they think, oh, this is a landslide, and then they cater to these 600 complaints, and they lose the vast majority of non-complainers that were happy. You know, the story is old as time. You know, it's politicians. You know, we need to put transgender bathrooms because 20,000 people are active on Twitter saying this. Meanwhile, millions of people hate it, but we're just normal people who go to work and don't
I think this is where it got the signals got mixed, right? Because there's always been chicks doing comics. There's always been LGBT doing comics. They've always been it. You've seen it, but they just did it more. I feel, from my experience, what I've seen in Artist Alley is they're doing it in like a slice of life comics. They weren't doing it with superheroes, right? So they're like, okay, because that is a big community. Like you go to Artist Alley, there's a lot of and they have their little books and it's a little, you know, the little flyers, and then they have bookmarks and little, like, you know, and it really, like, the presentation looks really well, right? Like if you're into that stuff, you know, if you're not, you're like, man, I want some cool comics. This isn't it. But they do get sales because people will go there looking for that. So I feel that they saw that and like, we can capitalize off this. We can put this into superhero stuff and we'll get this audience. But it just really irritated the original audience. If they did that, they should have done slice of life books as separate instead of trying to.
If Marvel wants to make a lesbian catered comic book, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, it's a business. Sell what sells, make what sells, and they experiment with it, and it doesn't work or it works. Either way, it doesn't work. But don't change Spider-Man. Don't change Batman. You know, keep Batman. Add your little niche book, like manga. You know, they make manga about fishing. They make manga about Vikings. They make manga about anything. You know, there's a whole subset of like catering to guys who are too shy to talk to girls. You know, and it's stories like every freaking thing in Japan, they have a manga for it. Anything they got manga about construction workers, like basically teaching you how to use tools through stories and everything. People send me those links. That's great, but don't put it in Berserk, because Berserk is this, Spider-Man is this, Batman is that. You know, and if you want to be a character of Batman, make up a new character.
The Japanese culture is different, right? You can even tell because I with fighting, right? They don't care if you win or lose as long as you actually put up a fight. Like there's Gary Goodrich lost a lot, but he always gets cheered and always get honored because he went out and fought with the best, right? So there's a lot more patience in Japan culture. There's like with America's culture is win big, money. You know, we need to see profit. We need to see this. So now you're thinking you're taking the less chances, right? You're taking less chances. So we're just like, okay, if we're gonna make this move, we got to make this move with the big characters, because if we did it with the small characters, it's going to be a disaster. So we need to always see a profit. Everything we do needs to see a profit, and this is how we think it.
If Marvel and DC did that, that would be fine. If they were doing it for a profit motivation, I got no problem with it. But I think it's not the profit motivation. Like that's the problem. Is it's political activism. Because if it was profit motivation, they would have stopped with Kamala Khan and Carol Danvers and stuff years ago. You know, it was more like, oh, we want to send a message. Like, I know everybody bunts on the critical drinker, but like the message that wasn't selling. You know, now is Marvel movies turning a corner, bringing back Captain America? Like nobody wanted Sam Wilson as Captain America. That wasn't a profit motivated change. You know. Even in the MCU, they were hinted towards Bucky taking over, but at the last minute they hoodwinked us and, you know, did that. That wasn't profit, and nobody watched that, you know. And She-Hulk twerking. Dave Brin has some great advice. He says it's true that indie comics can't compete with the big boys when it comes to price and speed. Absolutely. I mean, I wish I could, but you know, until I get a company beneath my feet, which is never going to happen. No. Focusing on it is discouraging. I don't think it's discouraging, Dave. To me, it is this is the line that I would like to achieve. And I know I'm never going to hit that perfection. But the closer I could close that gap, maybe I could only come this close. But if I don't look at that line,
And that's what I meant it as. Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean, so I look at it as a goal to achieve. Like, I'll never be able to win the Olympics. So should I never run? Should I never exercise? You know what I mean? And I'm not busting on you, Dave. Dave knows absolutely that I love this guy. To he's one of my favorite people on the planet. Yes, and if Richard, you got to admit when somebody writes you a letter, like, have you gotten any fan letters?
Yeah.
Oh my God, isn't that the greatest? I go upstairs and I read them to my wife, and she looks at me and goes, "I'm cooking." Like, you know what I mean? But like, I'm happy for you, but I'm making dinner right now. Yeah, but I'm like, I tell the guys at work, I got a fan letter today, and they're like, dude, I'm like waiting for you to hand me the screwdriver. I don't give a crap. But it's all I want to talk about.
Well, you know what? One of my favorite like fan letters was Dan Panosian. He said,
Wow,
"Bro,
fan letter."
He said, listen, man, my son read your book, and he just wants to talk about it. He read Blood and the Sword. He's like, this kid's around all these comics all day, and he picked up your book and liked it and wants to talk about it, and So I was like, dang, that's huge, man. That's huge. I think it sounds like 10 years old or something.
Yeah, I got a coworker who bought. He's like, give me one copy of all your covers. So we bought all three of issue number 2. And he just bought it because when he was a kid, he worked in a comic book store. But he's not a comic book guy. But he's like, yeah, I kind of like comics, and I want to support a guy I work with. Thank you, Jimmy, if you're watching. And he bought the comic, and his son read them. And his son is writing a list of questions for him.
Yeah.
And that's just so cool. And then another guy, I don't know if I'm allowed to mention, but he's a guy with a YouTube channel. So his son got all excited, and we did like a private Zoom call for like 2 hours, just talking about
That's cool, man.
His comic book market. Oh man, that made my day. It's so much fun.
Yeah, and another time, my friend from high school, he bought my comic, and he got the shirt. And his son, he's like, dude, I gotta buy another shirt, bro. Like, my son keeps wearing it. He just doesn't take it off. He loves it. It's like, and the fact that like he knows about it and he likes it. And no one at his school knows about it. He's like, he's like peacocking on him. Like, look at what I know, man. I'll put you up on game, man. Let me, So
yeah, one of my buddies, I used a lot of the characters from our role playing games, and I give him cameos. So he's just like, this is my character, and it's so fun because his kids are like, the last thing to be interested in Dungeons and Dragons and comic book stuff, but they just think it's cool. But they tell their friends, and they got, young 19-year-old, to me that's a kid, 19-year-old college kids that are like into comics. So I one day I just got like a bunch of orders, campaigns well off, and I noticed they were all going to the same town, and it turned out it's all of his son's college buddies. They all ordered, like you said, they're all like, yeah, we got the new cool thing that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
We're gonna be wearing the t-shirt. I was like, oh man, it's and one of them wrote me a nice fan letter. So guys, if you want to write fan letters, go to heroicmails@yahoo.com. Write me a fan letter. I'll publish it in the comic. I want letter pages. To me, that's part of the comic book experience.
I wouldn't even say like fan letter, but I just get like DMs. One of the DMs I got was from Mike Barron. He's like, man, you did this without captions. Like you like, and I was like, dang, hell yeah, Mike, you saw that, because a lot of people put captions, this and that. I was able to tell the story just through dialogue, showing more than telling, just show.
Right.
And he picked up on that, like, because he's a master of the craft, bro. Of course he's gonna pick up on that, So that was.
Well, Mike Barron is one of the greatest people in comics. I tell the story. It's funny to tell, but he just DM'd me, send me your comic, your digital. I want, this was before it was out, so I sent him, and 2 weeks go by. I'm like, oh man, Mike Barron hates my comic, whatever. I just wait,
Dude,
and I'm at work, and I'm in a porta potty, disgusting construction work porta potty, and the phone rings, and it's Mike Barron. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm taking care of business, Mike. I got to take the call. You can't say no to Mike Barron, and we're in there.
Mike Barron at that time, bro. It's like,
he's giving me critiques and stuff like. If only he knew where I was when we. But my point being is.
That's weird. Now he has to like, are you on the shitter?
Right. But
are you on the shitter?
It was the most. It was like train spotting. But like if you ever work construction, you only use those when you absolutely have no choice. But he didn't have to call me. He didn't have to give me advice. He didn't, Mike Barron's a freaking legend. Chuck Dixon, the same thing.
Yeah.
Who am I? I'm selling 700 copies of my comic book, but Mike Barron, that's the way he is. I love it. I'm so happy. Yeah. He wishes me a happy birthday on my birthday, Mike Barron.
It's a good dude, man. There's a lot of great dudes in this comic book. Whether they carry certain banners or not, man, they're just still fucking solid dudes, and always have respect for them and admire their craftsmanship.
Like
knowledge.
Like Dave said, we're never going to be able to compete with the mainstream, which it's a different animal. We're independent. Like even Cerebus in its heyday wasn't a monthly comic or even bi-monthly. It came out when it came out. Love and Rockets, that's the kind of stuff that I'm competing with. Like I know I'm not delusional. I can't compete with Marvel or DC, but I'd like to think, like, how often did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles come out back in the day? In the black and white days.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to do. But I do insist that you got to make the comics come out as fast as possible for you. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to you in the general. Yeah. I got 2 comic books out last year. So I got 80 pages in one calendar. Well, not a calendar year, in 12 months. And so that's my new record. So I want to try to beat 80 pages in a year. Now, I also don't want to just throw garbage out.
Yeah.
I want to put out at least 81 quality pages, and then the next year at least 82 quality pages a year. That's so I'm competing with myself. And like we were joking earlier, your comic book is $5, man. I wish my comic book could be $5.
But it's 20 pages though.
Right.
Like for 20 pages, I don't feel right charging $8 for.
Right. I mean,
it was 32. It was 32 pages. I would charge $8.
I just thought of it. Yours was 20 pages. Mine was 40 pages. So I did have a $5 comic. So I'm back to saying I have the best value in crowdfunding. I didn't think of it like that. But like I said, we're not competing with each other.
Yeah, it's because here's the thing. Someone might like my comic and not your comic. Someone might like your comic and not my comic. It just it's like at the convention. That's what my whole mindset is going back to the convention, right? Because that's where I was really having the most fun. I was making comics. I didn't, it was great. And so if someone comes to my table, I pitch my comic, and if they don't feel it, then I'm say, hey, you into superhero comics? Check out John's. He's right next to me. Hey, John, tell him about your comic. And then you pitch. So this person's going to come through, and it's like a press junket. They're going to get every pitch down the line, and that's how the indie comics work. And that's what the camaraderie that comes with being in indie comics. There's a certain, that when you go to the restroom, right? I'm watching your table. If you make a sale or this and that, yeah, I can sell it to you. Charge you this and that. When you come back, here's your money. There was a guy that he's gonna come back later. He wants you to sign it.
Yeah,
like that right there is that's where the indie comic spirit lives, where it is, and that's why we do this as a side extra from our jobs, because that enjoyment of entertaining people in that it's nothing like it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like if me thinking that you making a $5 comic book is gonna ruin me, that just shows you how bad my thinking is. Like the average American can afford $5 for another comic book. Like, who is your audience that they're so broke that it's either me or somebody selling a $5 comic book? There's not infinite money in comics, but this is America. We every day we throw $5 at something that we frivolous. Whether it's going to Starbucks or going to Shake Shack and buying $6 for a freaking shake. I mean, we got the money to spend. We're not, the Great Depression or World War II in Europe, yet. But right now, we got, look at the average adult now is like a child. I got all of these toys behind me. You got all those toys behind you. Guys at work at construction, these are regular guys that would like be scary back in the 70s. They're talking about The Mandalorian. They all got Netflix. They're watching. They're even watching manga now, or anime, whatever it's called. They got money for a $5 comic book. They got money for a $10 comic, and they got money for both of our comics. So thinking of every, I think you putting out a good comic only helps me. Like you said, whether we're at a convention together or somebody, because it's you. Oh, I really like comic. What else is out there?
Yeah,
maybe you'll mention me, because I'll definitely say like Wolf and Batsy, David Brink, Richard Embree. I got a list of books that I would recommend. So I think that I can only succeed by putting other people down is bad. Support
too is
grab an oar, right?
Yeah, with the $5 comic, that's where I take away obstacles out of your way. I take away. I'm looking for an impulse buy, because impulse buy is going to get me a new customer. With the new customer, who's like, like you said, oh, I like this. I didn't really think I liked it, but then I liked it. And what else is out there? While I'm waiting for issue 3, while I'm waiting for this, while I'm waiting for that, and that's where we would all thrive. I think we can get back to that. I mean, or like some people haven't even stopped that. Like they're still at conventions doing that. I'm pretty sure Vaughn's at a convention, and anyone that, he'll probably be like, hey, Reni's over there. Go get her book. Go say hello. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Even if you already have her book, go say hello. Because now, like what Dave was talking about, we have that connection with the customer to, I met Rini in person. I met Vaughn in person. They're really cool people. So I'm in. Next time they come out, they come out with a project, they have my money. I already have money set aside for them because I like the experience and I want to support them. And so I agree. Dave is right with, we're not going to compete with mainstream, but we can get that crowd, just that connection, that audience.
Dave always has such wonderful thoughts. I feel that while many indie comic creators are trying to attract and keep readers in the scene, others are giving potential long-time customer reasons to tap out. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. When I say quick, like I can't keep Heroic Tales for 5 years. I'm going to talk about one 40-page comic book. You can't do that. Like that's what I'm talking about. To keep enthusiasm going, you have to put out on a regular basis. Like for a year I talked about the Patriarch and the Suit, and then the Doc Boss Moxie and Dr. Robug and all that. Now I could talk about the Subterranean and the Overshadow and Mary Sue and what's going on with Karen, and I got other characters to talk about. Pretty soon I'm going to have another 10 characters that I could talk about and keep this conversation going. Dave, forget about it. Dave's got 1 billion characters that he can keep you interested, talk about. We can learn something about it until the next issue. So I don't need to quarrel with you to keep interest. Look at Ripper. I can't keep track of how many freaking characters that company has now, and people are talking about. And I'm friendly with all those guys, and I'm like, oh man, they got a new magazine. Oh, number 3? No, John, number 6 is coming out. I'm like, what happened to 4 and 5? Like you blinked, you missed them. That's fun.
Right.
Overshadow. Yeah, the Overshadow debuted in Heroic Tales number 2. Not what you think he is. Well, maybe he is. You can figure it out in Patriarch number 1. He's also in Patriarch number 1. Yeah, I tapped out of mainstream in 2015 for Marvel and DC. I'll still buy like you mentioned Rook and
Conan.
Yeah, Conan. I bought a couple of Conan. I haven't read them yet because I missed issue number 1, and I'm not I can't read it until I get issue number 1. And I wasn't allowing myself to buy back issues until my campaign was complete. It was like a little.
Get the trade, man. Don't.
I gotta get the floppies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still think you can compete with the mainstream. Let your fans share it. Right. So we got 2 schools of thought. Like, I when I say compete with the mainstream, I'm not going to be selling 100,000 like Absolute Batman. Let's be realistic. But what I'm talking about is this is an ideal that I want to aspire to. Shoot for the stars. You know what I mean? Shoot for the moon is, I guess, the expression. And if I miss, I'm among the stars. That's what I'm trying to do. I want to get as many comics out as possible, top quality as possible, and I want to keep that enthusiasm going. Sooner or later, like if it's been 3 years between issues, what do I have to talk about? Richard Embree's a jerk. Look at this guy trying to look like me with the beard. That's my look, you know. And next thing you know, we're
damn kids, man. I got 3 kids, man. It's been nuts, man. Calling me a fake ass Santa Claus.
Who called me? I went to the barber the other day, and he goes, "Well, we'll get you to stop looking like Santa Claus." I was like, "Nah, I want to look like Santa Claus."
Yeah,
Santa Claus. Yeah. So, what is devil? So, okay, let's start at the beginning. Too much coffee. That's me in general. Just too much coffee. So you got one comic that's a fantasy comic.
Yeah.
Now you got another comic that's a Western.
Right.
So are you considering yourself like a genre publishing? Like, are you going to do sci-fi next?
There's a lot of stuff I want to do, man. It's just trying to figure it out how that I can actually do it, right? Because it's like you have dreams, you have ideas, but what is reality, right? So with Devil from Tallow Flats, it's a 3-part story, 20 pages each issue, so 60-page story, releasing it in floppies, and it'll complete after issue 3. But the main ongoing thing for what I want to do is definitely Blood and the Sword, you know. So I was even thinking of this whole comics scene is how can I do this and be deliver, but also be smart with the finances. So I'm even thinking of this, man, and just doing digital until I have both these. The next issue of Blood and the Sword will be digital. Next issue of Talon Flats would be digital. I'll sell them on my website first, and then when they're ready to go to physical print, that's when I do sell both of them at Fund My Comic. Because I think that would be like, why wait for this? And then you can buy one, you can buy 2. They'll be both available. Artwork's already done. If you want to buy them and preview them and read them and enjoy them, you can do that. And then, but if you want to have the physical in your hand, which guys, I respect these old school guys that's what it has to be, then I'll have them available for that. So, that's where I think
I wouldn't recommend doing the same thing. CG. I don't exactly know. What are we doing? Are we, or is this rhetorical? Could you elaborate on this name that I will not even attempt to pronounce? That looks like my cat walked across the keyboard. Vinziger. But I think that's a good idea. At first, I was upset with man, I'm doing digital comics. Comic books are supposed to be a physical thing that you read. And now, whenever somebody orders a digital comic, I'm like, nice. File send, I'm done. File send, I'm done.
Here's the thing, John. We can't go old man mentality, right?
I know.
Your first experience may not be their first experience. So your first experience, right, is physical, because that's the only thing. Their first experience could be digital, and then maybe they get the collected one, right?
Right.
So your nostalgia doesn't trump their nostalgia.
Absolutely. And
and that's what we gotta, as old men, we gotta come to that agreement, man.
Every once in a while I'll talk to somebody on my channel and I'm like going on and talking about John Byrne and the X-Men and blah blah blah. And then I find out they never even read those comics. And to me that's like that's like a dead stop. I'm like, you haven't read the greatest comics ever made?
Here's the thing, though. This is why you should appreciate digital comics, right? Because you can talk about these comics, and then you say, "Oh, Richard, you haven't read these. You haven't read these." I'm not gonna go out and pay $40.
I know
for that, because you were up on game and you had it early. So then I'm gonna go digital, right? Because wait, I might not even like this, and I'm gonna buy like a $140 omnibus. Like, you're crazy, Right. So if I want to enjoy these with John, I'm either gonna buy the digital or try to find it online. Which hopefully you buy the digital. So at least
So to me, my Green Lantern, and I'm so mad. What they did was Alan Scott. The original Green Lantern. With that, you could see I got the original Green Lantern right over here. You know what I mean? I with that ugly cape and the red shirt, and the green pants. It's just there's something about that character that I absolutely love. And now other people are like, oh yeah, my favorite Green Lantern is Kyle Raniere, and I'm like, why? But they were 16 years old when that character was selling, and that's their Green Lantern. You know what I mean? Like somewhere, Green Lantern is like each one seems to have like a 10-year heyday, and that like Doctor Who, everybody likes their favorite Doctor. Not anymore because nobody likes Doctor Who, but you know what I'm saying? Everybody has. What do you mean you like the 6th Doctor? Everybody likes the 4th Doctor. That's my Doctor. Oh, that I was 15 when that guy came. So you're absolutely right. Like other people when I talk to them about X-Men, my jaw drops when like what's his name, Mark Silvestri, dead green on art. Those are and I'm like, that's when I quit the X-Men. I realize how old I am.
I'll give you insight too, right? So when Netflix was coming out with their shows, man, they on Comixology they had a sale for Heroes for Hire, which I was never a Heroes for Hire fan, but I was like, dude, wait, how much is that? Like 120 pages for like $5? Oh, shoot that! Let me, even if I don't like it, I could, bro, I loved it. And I would have never been introduced to that if it wasn't for digital. So it's like,
right.
We got these digital comics, so these new cats can new cats like me, right? They can understand the history, understand the writing, understand the art. Now, I wish they could just have an app though that allows you for the colors, right? It's because it's so pretty, it's too digital. I wish they could put it on like newsprint. And have that option to where we have the colors, but then you can see it on newsprint, and it gives you that more nostalgic feel. That's my only thing. So sometimes I do enjoy a pirate, a little shipment, but or you can see it online, you don't have to, But
I've been talking about this a lot lately. I don't know why this seems, but DC about less than 10 years ago, they were making these chronicles, and they would. I just put the box away, otherwise I'd go get them. But there were these newsprint, $9.99 or maybe $19.95 or something like that, and it was just chronological from Superman's first appearance. And the theory was they were just going to reprint all Superman comics in these cheap little volumes. I think they made it up to 10 volumes, and they were on newsprint, so they looked like when it came out, and it was incredible. So it would be, Action Comics 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then Superman #1. This just chronological, so you could read. Oh man, I love that because it's the same thing for me. Guys today can't go out and get the Byrne Claremont X-Men's because they're $40, $60, $100 a comic. I can't go and get these original Supermans because they're thousands of dollars a comic, but I can still read them. So why did DC discontinue this? Somebody says DC just doesn't want to reprint stuff, which is absolutely. You're a publishing house. Keep stuff. We're not going to reprint The Shadow. We're not going to reprint Sherlock Holmes. We only want to reprint new stuff. DC, get out this mindset. Reprint. There's people that want to read 50s Green Lanterns.
Yeah, I wonder if didn't I think they got bought by Netflix, but then that didn't go through, and then Paramount was trying to buy Warner Brothers. So
yeah. Okay.
Actually had some stock in Warner Brothers and made a couple bucks. Like I only buy like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, stocks.
There's clarifying. He says, I'm just recommending don't start fights and drama and trouble. I know GCG starting fights. That's all they're known for at this point. They're not known for comics anymore. They're not. And a couple of guys got mad at me because I got involved in the drama, and they're absolutely right. So I try to stay away from it, but I'm weak. Yeah, don't have a. Like I said, Richard is the wide sage over here. Don't have an old man mindset. I'm trying to sell to people younger than me, which is the majority of people on the earth. So I gotta.
Every year they're getting stronger too, because we're getting older and they're getting younger, bro.
Right. Games Workshop. Yeah, they closed all the stores in New Zealand. Wow. Yeah, if people associate your brand with drama and trouble, your brand is drama and trouble. Absolutely. So I'm trying to course correct. I see like the rocky shoals. I'm trying to steer away, and then I overcompensate. And now I'm going to hit this barge over here. I'm trying. I'm not perfect.
Yeah, my whole mindset in 2026 is with CG is I honestly had a lot of fun there. I'm not having fun there. If people are having fun there, then you know what? I'm going to be happy for them, man. You know what I mean? If they're still doing that, I'm happy for them.
It was fun. It was fun.
So,
it was exciting. I thought it was important. You know, like I don't have
it ain't fun to me no more. But if it's fun to them, because I would say that this, man, that there's probably people when I was having fun, they're like, oh, it's not fun for me, you know, and teach their own. And then you hear customers that like, you know, have spent thousands and thousands of super chats and this and that, and it ain't fun for them, and it would stop being fun for them while it was still fun for me. So I just, you know, just try to keep an open mind and just go on with, because at the end of the day, it's too much energy, bro. I got 3 kids, bro. I got a mortgage. I got 2 comics. I got a lot of stuff going for me that needs my energy. And you know, so people are having fun. I accept it, you know. Even though they try to take little swipes at me and do little things, you can't touch me, man. Like,
what are you gonna do? Yeah. Every time they talk about me, I just go, well, that's because I'm more interesting than Comicsgate.
Yeah,
you know, and I think that gets under the skin. You know, go ahead, talk about me. Give me.
I just, you know, it's my only thing that makes me sad is guys like Graham and Andy Smith and Billy Tucci and all these guys, these real good guys, man. R2 Bear. I just want them to make a lot more money than what they're making.
Well,
you know?
I'll say outright that they're being harmed by it.
They're being like, here's the thing. I could say it and not be harmed by it. You could say a lot of things, but if they were to say probably how they feel, that they would be harmed by it. So I
think CG is an albatross around their backs, because there are people who will, you know, for every one person that says it, there's 100 people or so that agree with it. But like, look at the numbers. Gone are the days of $100,000 campaigns, but Ripper is doing 100. You know, consistently 100,000, and he's failing. Like, how are these people looking at these numbers and saying he's failing? I wish I was failing as bad as Ripper.
Well, he also made the decision to give up the drama,
right?
And he gave up, and he's that formula worked for him, you know, because when you have comic book buying fans. And or you could just say political fans that will buy your comics, as long as you don't engage in the drama, then, you know, like, he's doing something right, you know, with that. So
right, he's producing, and his fans are passionate and they talk about the comics. There's a couple of guys that respond to drama and stuff like that, but whatever, that, you know, there's always going to be that. But for the most part, whenever I see Ripper fan stuff on Twitter, they talk about, oh man, this character's great. You know, this character Yaira, you know, this character Zaylin over here, the Horseman, and blah blah blah. And they're talking
of it,
they're not saying this guy sucks over here. They're into it. And I get invited to Ripper shows, and I feel like a fraud because I only have a handful of Ripper comics. You know, I don't know what these guys know. And like, and then I see the other guys, it's just, they're not talking about, oh man, the Wrath of God is so good. I want to read more Wrath of God and Glorious Rex. This is about. No, it's, you know, it's talking about them.
Yeah.
If I want to talk about them, I'll just go to them. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I took up barbecuing recently. I don't know if you've been seeing the pictures. So that's been my new hobby. That's been relaxing, you know, and it's helped, man. It's been feeding the family.
I bought a barbecue, and I didn't even fire it up this year. I feel like a bad American male.
Well, my thing is with barbecuing, right? They said, how do you put out a fire? You know, I got the like Weber, you know.
I got the Weber too, yeah.
Yeah, it's you don't give it any oxygen. So you close it on the bottom, you close it on the top, and however hot that fire is, however crazy it is, hot, whatever, strong, it goes out. You know, you just don't give it no oxygen. And I think that's a strategy for that you can take with this, you know, just, you know. Student guy says, I'm eating barbecue as we speak. Hell yeah, man. Enjoy the day off, man.
Now you're gonna get me. I feel like a bad American right now because I went the whole summer. I have a hood. I bought when I moved into this house 4 years ago, I got a new washer, a new dryer, a new refrigerator, and I was like, I'm going to start wheeling and dealing. I'm going to be one of these wheel. So I was like, can you throw in a grill? And they gave me the floor model. You know, it was perfectly fine. You know what I mean? So I didn't have to assemble it. And I got a free grill, free Weber grill, and it's awesome. And my buddy came over and he was like, yeah, these are great. You can replace them. So I went outside on the deck and I was grilling burgers, and it was, I just felt like, you know, the coolest guy in the world. Like, I could see why, like, you get great in your beard, you're out in the backyard, you're grilling, taking pictures of the sausages on the grill.
Yeah.
And then this year I just didn't do it.
Yeah, we've been doing it because you know, the Rams are in the playoffs, so we've been out there grilling, bringing the TV outside, enjoying the game. You know, you got the game on, you got the chicken on the grill, you smelling the aroma. You know, where the oven broke, but we've been air frying potatoes, which actually comes out a lot crispier for baked potatoes with air fry.
Oh, really?
It's just living, just having good times, man. That's like, man, that's why it's like, man, I don't got time for drama, man. I got chicken to prep.
I joke,
bro.
I joke, but it's like one of those jokes that's like, if any of my campaigns hits $100,000, I'm inviting everybody that I know online to come down here, and that's one of the things I want to do. You could run the grill, you know.
Oh man! If you get a grill or
you done it quickly when you come down here, you're bringing the andouille sausages. You've been talking about
you should get a flat top like a Blackstone, and then we just make hamburgers or hot dogs and just, you know, a little cooler out there and just put them all on the grill, man. Wrap them with bacon.
That you said that because I last year I went to my nieces and nephews, and you know they're in their 30s, and oh my God, this guy he built it by himself, a barn. My niece married this guy John, you know. He first off, he's got the ultimate beard. You know, he makes me look like a.
Is it colored or white?
Oh, he's young. He's 30, so it's still. He looks like Sweetums from the Muppets. You know, got big shape. Okay. You know what I mean? And he's got just a big guy. Doesn't talk, but he builds decks. He builds everything. He collects old machines, and in his barn, he's got every machine. Like he's got a pipe bending machine. You program it and it bends the pipe into. The guy doesn't need it, but he just, so he could build anything. Long story short, he got a flat top grill. So I stayed out there for the weekend, and he was out just eggs on this flat top grill and bacon, and everything was perfect.
Oh, I did that for Christmas. I did bacon.
And I got a million nieces and nephews. So he just came in with trays of eggs over easy. Oh, man. So that's my next thing. I want to get my barbecue.
It's so fun, bro.
Outside grill. My wife was like rolling her eyes. It's just the two of us. How much food? No, because when I hit my $100,000 campaign, Richard Embree's got to come over and cook for me.
Man, we can do hash browns. We can do hot dogs, hamburgers. We'll do smash burgers, man. We'll make it happen, man. That's gonna be,
Bobby, you live near me, if I recall. Like you're either a New Yorker or New Jersey. You can come over any weekend. You can come over. Vaughn's been over. We didn't grill though, and it bothered me too because there's a great deli called Chubb's. Not too far away. And as it imagined, there's a big fat guy with a beard, runs Chubb's, and this guy makes
as he should, bro. As he should.
I gotta go get a pack of sausages and cook that up.
Yeah.
I had a 3-day weekend and I didn't even open up the grill. Well, it's snowing.
Yeah. I always wanted to do that, grill in the snow, you know, because with charcoal, that's still cool. Still go, man.
Yeah, so. I could that inspired me. Next weekend I'm going to cook. The only thing is now we're talking grill. I never ate steak as a kid because my grandfather, for whatever reason, he always made steaks well done. So steaks to me were garbage. I never liked them. You know, I'd rather just have a burger. And
a burger well done. You know,
my buddy, I mean, a well done burger I could eat, but a well done steak is like eating shoe leather. But that's the way I thought steaks were. I'm like 19, 20 years old, and I was like, I'm not eating steak. We go to steakhouses, and I'd order a burger. I'm like, ugh. So my buddy said, I'm making you a steak, and he cooked me a filet mignon steak, medium rare. Oh my God, my mouth watered. So
you have asparagus on with it.
He made steak fries and broccoli. You know, and we had some beers. He was the first of us to buy a house. You know, so that was his thing. Host the parties and everything like that. We're all in college, and he's got a house and drinking wine and eating steaks. We're like, Terry, man, you did good. a beautiful wife cooking, But anyway, long story short, I started buying steaks, but I got a cast iron skillet inside the house, and that was the best steak I ever had in my life. Now I use my barbecue and I ruin them. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Every time I cook a steak on my Weber grill,
okay, so
ruin it.
I say this, man. Like what I learned is 2 levels, right? You put the coal over here on one side, and then you have like 2 zones, right? They call it 2-zone grilling, right? So when I do the chicken, I never put the chicken over the grill because it'll just burn. I put it on the other side, and then I put the holes for the barbecue on the other side of the hot coal, so the air goes through and it goes out. It goes through and goes out, right? So maybe that's what's happening when you're grilling steaks. They go quick, bro. They go quick. That's like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, So if you're thinking you're gonna be there for a while, like you got to be all hands on deck,
See, that's what my wife says because I'm the Black Sabbath garage guy now. Like I got a big radio system in my garage. I got a TV in my garage, and then you go out the back of the garage, and that's where the grill is. So I'll throw stuff on the grill, and now I'm in the garage drinking a beer, watching something on TV. Yeah. And then I go back to my steak. So she's like, you got to focus. Yeah. You're ADH guy, like looking all around. Don't get that steak. That's a $26 steak you just ruined.
You got to cook chicken wings, man. You do chicken wings. You put them on one side and let them cook. Then you can grab the beer, watch the TV, watch the game. But if with steaks, you got to be like with hot dogs, you got to be on call, man. Especially on those little Webers, the round one, you got to be on call. So what I would say is this. Put it over there. First of all, get you a temperature thing. So
I did. I bought everything. I'm one of those guys. I get into stuff. Yeah. I bought everything for it.
Right. So get that, and then when it's to a certain temperature, then you bring it over to where it's hot, right? And you cook it over the coals. Get a nice little charcoal feel, and then you take it out, right? And then you let it sit for a little bit. And, oh man, you'll be in heaven, man.
MSK says sex is overrated
compared to steak. Yeah,
it's not as good as barbecue. It's not as good as barbecue.
Yeah.
When I bought my grill, I got a Omaha Steaks. I was like, so I bought this like butcher's block. It was like $400, and it was just filled with burgers, hot dogs, chicken, and pork chops, stuff like that. And then it was circling around. I'm like, oh man, it didn't go through. So I hit the button again. So I got 2 orders for and it comes frozen. So I just oh, there's 2 huge boxes on my porch. I'm like, oh my God, I don't even have room. So I was like, we got to eat. So it was just for a month. It was just cooking everything as fast as possible.
That's cool, man. But yeah, man, it's what was great too, man. Barbecuing's improved my marriage too, because the wife is like, oh man, I don't have to cook on Saturday. I don't have to cook on Sunday. She just has to do a little side dish, and we're good, man. So that's always cool.
I was doing really good, and then I broke my neck 2 years ago. So that whole summer I didn't grill, and then I guess this summer I just got used to it, and I just didn't grill. I got to get back to it. Because I have a camera on the back.
Yeah.
With the motion sensor, and every time a squirrel comes by, I see my grill just sitting there with the hood.
We got to do a live stream, John.
Oh, a live barbecue grill stream.
When we launch, we got to do a barbecue live stream, and that's gonna be fucking chaotic. I'm getting anxiety thinking about it, but that would be hilarious. That would be very hilarious,
Every $1,000, I'll eat another hot dog.
Oh yeah, that would be maybe a grill. Yeah, maybe we grill it, but that'd be hilarious, man. That'd be fun.
What brand hot dogs do you like?
Oh man, the Nathan's. Nathan's are the greatest hot dogs ever made. Don't ever get anything else. If you have the money for Nathan's, get it. They're just phenomenal.
Yeah, in New York, everybody gets those Sabrettes, the dirty water dogs.
Okay.
I decided I don't particularly like them that much. They're cheap. When you go to a dirty water, they're $1 for a reason. Like in New York, you got $1. You're not going to starve. You go over to the corner and you get a dirty water hot dog. It's boiled and it's sitting in that hot, disgusting water all day long. But I decided, like, like I went to Five Guys and I'm like, oh, they got hot dogs, and they butterfly them and they grill them. I think they use Hebrew Nationals, so I think Hebrew
Those are good too.
Yeah, Hebrew
Nationals. Yeah.
So that's what I do now is I butterfly them because I like when they get that black scorch mark along the. And hot dogs, it's like even if you burn them, they're still awesome. You know,
they're already cooked. You're just basically warming them up and getting them toasty, and it's like
a hamburger. If you burn it, you ruin a steak. If you burn, but a hot dog, if you burn it, I'll still eat that hot dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Brett makes phenomenal sauerkraut. To me, is just like it's like padding.
That's an East Coast thing. I haven't got into that. I'm on the West Coast. Yeah. I gotta look that up and see if they have it out here.
They gotta have sauerkraut, but yeah, you put.
Well, they have sauerkraut, but Sabret. I never heard of that brand.
Yeah, the thing I don't
like
is it's usually cold, so you put in this cold stuff on top of a hot dog, like that. But the Sabret, they do sell like an onion sauce. It's like a ketchup onion sauce. That is awesome.
But I like that. I like a hot burger with the cheese melting, and then crisp lettuce and a juicy tomato on it with spread. I mean, so it's like
lettuce has got to be ice cold, and the tomatoes have to be ice cold.
Yes,
like a fresh tomato, right out. You cut it crisp, cold, ice cold on top of a hot burger. Warm. Oh man, that is the best. Pickles got it. I don't like pickles hot, and I don't like the tomato and lettuce hot. Onions can be warm. Onions can be cold. Either way, that's fine. But man, you're making me hungry over here.
We always talk about food, John. Like, man,
probably spend more of my life eating burgers.
It's just like therapeutic. We talk about what bothers us in comics, and then we wrap it up with a meal. It's like an AA meeting for indie creators, bro.
If we were in our 20s, we'd be talking about chicks, but we're in our 50s, so we're talking about barbecuing.
Yeah, man.
That's funny. At work, I joke about
man. Yeah.
When I have a young partner, and he's talking about he's like showing me this. I don't know what Tinder is. That what the young kids are going like? This girl, I'm gonna meet her. This girl.
I can't even research that, John. I wouldn't know, man.
Yeah, I know. So I'm like, oh, that's great. And then my other partner is close to retirement, and he's showing me his barbecue grill, and I said, you see, this is the difference. This is the difference. You'll be like this someday. Taking pictures of your barbecue and
yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun.
So where are you in California?
Yeah, I'm on the border of California and Arizona.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was in New Mexico for a couple of years. I love New Mexican food, which is different than Tex-Mex, which is different. New Mexico,
even Arizona has their own spin. You know what I like about Arizona? It's all cowboy stuff, man. It's like steaks and just chicken fried steaks, like that old school comfort food, man. So love it.
It's funny because when I was living in New Mexico, I was dating a girl who was, northern New Mexico, and she just ate like the countryest country food, chicken fried steak, the white gravy and biscuits and everything like that. And she was this tiny little petite thing, and I was always like. I feel bad because I was like teasing her, I was like an arrogant New Yorker. And now when I come back to New York, like I'm missing chicken fried steaks and chicken and biscuits. And, so I'll go out of my way to find these Southern restaurants that make all that kind of stuff.
Good stuff, man. Comfort food, man. You go to sleep at night, really, really, without dreams, man. You're just filled, content.
Do you ever get, I get like, oh man, I'm just tired of food, and I'm looking for something different.
That boredom. That's like a first world problem.
It is. This is, as I said it, I realized this has got to be the most arrogant problem in the world. I'm just tired of. I'm just looking for something different. Meanwhile,
what I did recently was I tried fasting. Cause I'm like, what? I'm gonna try fasting, man. I'm gonna try fasting. For the health reasons, for the spiritual reason, I'm gonna try fasting. And when I fasted, man, food just started everything smelled delicious. Everything was like, this is amazing. So when you get that, I think that's the sign to fast, because the body was like, okay, you just had too much. And then when you starve yourself, you just start like, oh man, and then you start getting grateful for foods that
right.
smell
it's
better.
With everything, like a little,
yeah,
like that's like a new thing. A couple of guys are fasting. They fast all weekend. And it's funny because they're like, how's the fast going? How's the fast going? Oh, John, you should join us with the fast. I'm like, I don't have the willpower. But it was funny. On Friday, they all ordered these huge heroes. I'm like, how's the fast going? They're like, shut up. You know, they lasted about 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, me,
like you were saying, like in college, you know, we were chasing girls all the time. And it got to be like annoying. Like, oh man, I don't want to put up with this girl time. So like I realized it was like feast or famine, and you don't appreciate the feast in the midst of a feast. So like, it sounds like I'm bragging, but it's just like for one semester, I'm not going to chase any girls, you know what I mean? And then it was like, and then when I got back into, I was like, oh man, this is awesome. This girl is great. You know, the company, and I don't want to be gross to describe her, but like, oh man, I like, so stop with the porn, you know, stop overeating, and then appreciate it. You know, have your barbecue once a week.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel about YouTube. It's just like YouTube so much and you fight so much, it means nothing anymore. Heavy into carpentry. That I lied to myself and said that I was going to get into carpentry when I bought my house, and I believed my own lie, and I never got into it.
Yeah.
At least they were getting someplace positive with all the food talk.
Steroids
better than fasting.
Yeah, that made me laugh. I think like you got to do some old man activity, right? Sometimes it's carpeting, sometimes it's barbecuing. Some guys are gonna do fucking models and shit. You know what I mean? So it's finding something, you know. But
I feel anybody who doesn't have a hobby, I feel bad for.
You gotta, man.
You gotta have I can't wait to retire. Like my dad, he retired, and he had 7 kids, and he worked every ounce of overtime he could. And when he retired, he just watched TV. And that's all he wanted to do. And you don't want to yell at your dad, but it's like, come on, Dad, like golf, do something. You know what I mean? So he literally watched TV and he cooked dinner. And every night he invited everybody he could to his house. Yeah. And that became his hobby. And of course, he got heavier and heavier until he died. So I do say that, like, guys, get yourself a hobby, an old man hobby. Collect stamps. Collect comic books. Like I love going in the back room, organizing my comics, bagging and boarding, sorting them. You know, I've been avoiding painting models, but I got this game called Marvel United, and they're little chibi figures. So it's superheroes. So they like Spider-Man is only 3 colors. So I think I painted the X-Men, I painted the Avengers, and I think I'm gonna paint the Fantastic Four and do things like that. I joked I'm trying to get Wiggle to come out here and play Twilight Imperium. You know,
that'd be funny.
Yeah,
Wiggle barbecues too. Like I gotta find out how he did that live stream. That'd be funny.
Yeah, he barbecues his comics.
Everyone is well done too. Hey, you gotta say Wiggle makes a well done comic, man.
Yeah, I again back to it, like my $100,000 stretch goal. Like you come out here, you know, and I want you to, like, which character would you pick? Because my dream is to, like, everybody comes out here and they stat up their character, and then I will play like a Dungeons and Dragons game, and everybody will be their character. So you could be one of your fantasy guys, or you could be the devil from Talon Flats. You know, Brian Batsy, Fabrizio would be Jorge H. Hoover. Rini would come over here, pick one of her characters from Fiendish. Yeah. You know, Tonic Bowl will come out here, be Kara from Saving the World. You know, and everybody will play as their character. Maybe draw up. You know, everybody could draw up me, draw up little avatars, and we'll make this crazy adventure. You know, Paul Thayer come out here, be one of. No, Paul, if you do come out, you cannot be Crimson Pain. That's overpowered, and I will not allow it. You have to be one of them.
I'll probably be with that. I would be Mango. That's my crowd favorite, man. Everyone loves Mango. So.
That's the lizard guy, right?
Yeah.
That'll be cool. Cool lizard guy. Like
Ron
Coleman would be Galvanite.
Yeah. So that's what a lot of people love him on the internet and off the internet. A lot of sales I get have been off the internet as well, and that's the fact. Like, people choose who they like. They have chosen.
Right, and it's unpredictable.
Yeah,
like I picked the Patriarch just because I was like, okay, this is like a solid superhero that I could launch a comic book with. But I had no intentions of keeping him through. Like every issue of Heroic Tales was going to debut another superhero. Like I was kind of modeling it on Astro City.
Yeah. Speaking of Vaughn, there he is right there, man.
Yep. Hey, Vaughn, we just mentioned your name. And but people like when I told them that he wasn't going to be in issue number 2, they're like, but dude, I like the guy. So you got to give the people what they want. The only character that I put out and I knew people were going to like was King Fu. I don't know if you're familiar with like martial arts Elvis impersonating character. So now I'm trying to make us right. I'm literally, I was up all night writing the story and try to get it out by Christmas. That's my challenge, my speed challenge. Get this comic. It'll be probably a page, half size story, and then after a couple of years, I want to collect all my Christmas stories into like a big thing.
Nice.
Everybody saying hello. Vaughn will bring vivacity to the table. Yeah, Vaughn is a go-getter. He's always at the conventions. I'm sure Vaughn is selling more in person to people, shaking people's hands, putting comic books in people's hands than he is on his campaigns.
Yeah, I'm telling you that like Vaughn will probably tell you the truth. There's probably guys that are selling just like him that haven't even are not even on the internet, but they're going convention to convention and straight probably selling out, and we're talking like 200, like 300, single issues.
Right. Vaughn, every weekend, like I said, Vaughn's here, so now I can tell him. He's always been, hey, John, where are you? I'll move over. You can sit at my table. He's always being super helpful, and I'm being that old curmudgeon guy.
The East Coast advantage, there's so much, everything is pretty close to where you're in the West Coast is California, everything's spread out.
Yeah, Vaughn told me where he got his banner from, so I'm ordering a banner, and I'm ready. I told Vaughn that I was going to wait until I had 2 issues. It's now that my campaign's done, everybody's got their stuff. I got my overstock. It's time to do conventions. The only thing stopping me is me, and I'm looking forward to it now. So I'll be doing it, Vaughn. So you hear it from me. I'll be going to keep me posted. I signed up for Hot Flips. That looks and Paul Thayer, this guy, crowdfunding is just a drop in the bucket. That guy will go to a convention and sell thousands of dollars.
Yeah,
every time he goes, that guy can sell water to Aquaman.
And here's the thing: what I noticed about Paul, he's excited, he's happy,
right?
He's grateful, he's humble. You're gonna have a good conversation with him, and you're gonna remember him. You're going to remember his energy, right? So the next time you see him, you're like, bro, you're going to walk amongst Artist Alley and be like, man, Paul was cool. Like he's going to stand out more than others. So
I joke
introverts, right? So you're going to go to him and he's going to get that sale, whether it be that day, later that day, right now, or next time you see him. And
I know Paul. I joke. We're going to be working for Paul. Paul and Vaughn are going to be running comics. When they're in their 50s, they're going to be the big cigars. Hey, come on, kid. These guys are energetic.
Yeah, we'll be there grilling them burgers. And
Vaughn of the convention is. I better stick to my web story. Yeah, Dave. I don't know what it's like in Europe, so I can't speak. But Dave, I don't. I come on out to the. He's another one. When I hit my 100,000 stretch goal, is Dave. Is coming down, and it'll be fun to see Dave role playing as Perfect 10. You got to use a girl voice, Dave. You got to talk like a girl. Right. I'm going to be at Hot Flip show tomorrow. Walt Simon. Damn! I didn't know it was tomorrow. Damn. There's a show Tuesday. Damn.
What? Wow.
Have you ever thought about opening a local? That's what I wanted to do. I actually scouted out locations. My friend Brett,
that's so risky.
To Wealth, was going to front me the money for to open up the store. The only reason I didn't do it is Brett wanted to be a partner, and I wanted it to be alone. You know what I mean? And I'm so glad I didn't do it. I'm so glad I did. I got my job now is pretty good. I can't complain. Yeah. It's hard work, but it's a real job with a real career. When I have had a house, a wife, and pension plan and medical benefits, if I opened up a comic book store, I think about opening up having my wife work during the day and after work come maybe. I don't know. It's probably too much. Right now, is it it's not a good time to open up a comic book store. You know,
Mhm.
is it like, does anybody have a comic book store that they're willing to sell? You know, enthusiasm is crucial. It's how I become friends with Tucci. I'd never heard of him or she when I met him. He told me, yeah, Tucci's a cool guy.
Master at
Oh, what you were saying about all these guys, and I was waiting for you to finish talking, and then we changed the subject. But like Tucci and you know, all these guys in comics, you know, Billy was saying they don't pay attention. They got lives, they got kids, they're working on their comics. They're going to Billy Tucci every weekend. He's at a convention. You know, he's got a real life in the real world, and that's why he's a charming guy. That's why he's, you know, I always joke, hanging out with Billy Tucci is like hanging out with Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, I'm trying to think, like when I hang out with him, I'm like the lowest of the low of the Rat Pack, and everybody wants to be around him, and he's cool. His wife is beautiful, and we're drinking and, you know, having fun. And then he goes online and he talks about he has no clue of comics because it's not important to him. He's not watching Trash Cast. He's not watching all this stuff. So it's, you having an auction? I'll sell a couple things. Come to the auction.
Yeah.
Is everybody sell a couple of things? And I think the same with all the other guys. Like when they find out like what's really going on, a couple of the guys get really, really bothered. You know, one guy got mad at me. He goes, "You're reading DMs out." I'm not reading DMs out. You know, somebody's gotten word that me and you have been talking, and now they're poisoning your ear. But I didn't read DMs out. That's not. If you think I read your DMs out, please tell me where you saw me reading because it didn't happen. You know, this is gaslighting.
Yeah, that's where, like I said, it saddens me that there's people that have been, like I said, the good stewards with this income to deliver a comic, and they always deliver, and you know, they're not making as much, and I you know, I want them to. So, but yeah, just, you know, I'm gonna focus on me having fun. I'm having fun, bro. You know, when you got like a 1-year-old at the house that's you know, reminds you of just, man, innocence, that reminds you of gratefulness and humbleness. Like I said, man,
1-year-old?
Yeah, man. I had a baby last year.
Oh, congratulations! So
You know,
that's the last time I talked to you. Then,
yeah, man. Yeah, no, I've he's like he was born in a that's a horrible father, because they're always so close. He was born in October.
and find customers that are loyal to you or want your products, not because of some movement. I agree. The movement's only been disappointing. Every movement from MAGA to Comicsgate, they're all been disappointing. And you know, and I'm human, and human beings are hardwired to be social. We're group animals. It's no man is an island. And as you know, as much as I'm like, you know, the American is the rugged individuality, that's why we like the superheroes, and ultimately, like, I don't know about you, I'd starve to death in a wheat field. I'm dependent upon other people, and because of that, you know, we form groups and cliques and stuff. So as much as I say, like, I'm not going to fall for it again, I'm going to fall for it again. You know, I'll fall for the next movement. But yeah, they're always, the thing is to recognize that this can't become your personality. This can't become your all. And, you know, even at the beginning, I was like, Comicsgate is just a terrible name. It's just so gay. It's so cringeworthy. But it was fun, so I accepted it. And now, every time anybody even says Comicsgate, I'm like, it's so gay. it's you know. Yeah.
But hey, like, it was fun while it lasted for my time in there, man.
It was cool for a good couple. Like, look at Richard C. Meyer. What a disappointment. You know,
well, he always wanted to be mainstream anyway.
Yeah, like
he just, you know, and
it was Emperor's New Clothes. Like, I got that first Jawbreakers comic. I was so excited. I was like, I never bought that we were going to replace the mainstream. Like, I never bought that. And people forget, like, oh, we never. No, when it first came out, that was our goal, was to start out at crowdfunding and show the mainstream how to do it right, and force those guys to either change or become the new mainstream. That was the goal. We forgot about that because it failed miserably. But I was so excited. And the first Jawbreakers comic was good. It wasn't great. It was good. And I was like, all right, this is his first stuff. You know, it's only going to get better from here. And then Iron Sights came out, and I was like, oh, this is a different direction. This is interesting. but man, that comic is unreadable. Like I read that. I'm like, what's this character? Who's this character? Where's this guy? Say, I tried, and then Rock and Roll Ninja was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rock and Roll Ninja. Matt Bauer's art is great. Chuck Dixon, I think, is like, okay, so this guy hired somebody, and he's got this crazy ideas, and now he's got a laser focused guy like Chuck Dixon. Man, I was super excited when Rock and Roll Ninja came out. I was like, we finally. We're on stride now. And then it was like stay on target, stay on. And now he's like,
the thing too is Matt had that artwork already in, right? And it was just sitting there, And I wonder how many customers did you lose by not just fulfilling it? Like, because both Matt did his work. He did his work. People enjoyed it.
I think Chuck's only doing Rock and Roll Ninja for him now. I think,
like I said, the first one, it was already done.
Right? Why did he wait so long?
He waited forever. Like he had to wait till Eric July made fun of him to actually. Then he got like how come he needed Eric July to make fun of him to do that? Like you had an artist deliver it to you. Boom, it's delivered. Like delivered that to the customer. So in that gap, I wonder how much. Lost a customer, then how he's acts recently. Like how much
I don't
understand. Is really gonna,
I don't understand. And now I guarantee you, and I love Matt, and I sent Matt a story. I'm hoping that we're gonna be working on something, a science fiction magazine, science fiction anthology magazine. That's what I'm hoping, like an oversized EC homage to science fi. So I love Matt, but I just feel like Rock and Roll Ninja is going to sell 1/10 of what it used to. This. Sorry, Matt, I love you, but this is the last issue of Rock and Roll Ninja. There's not going to be a number 3. Because he's like Richard C. Meyer. I'd never seen a guy snatch defeat from the jaws of victory like that guy. Joe Rogan asked him to come on his podcast. He says no. What the F? What the F? Joe Rogan invited you on. You said no. And then he goes on this other guy. That guy was a gotcha guy. And then he gets the worst haircut in the history of haircuts. And then he doesn't release his stuff. Oh, and then everybody say more jawbreakers. He releases those strange comics about lesbians with the shaved heads. You put out Mags Visaggio books. I don't understand. And now he's making fun of the people that bought his books. I don't understand. Yeah. And that one hurt the most because man, he's what got me into all of this. I was just vaguely dissatisfied, and I started watching, and I'm like, this guy's saying everything that I'm thinking.
But here's the thing. I think people, and this is a harsh reality, and I'll probably get some feedback or harsh criticism for saying this. Commentary is not creativity. Just because you're good at commentary doesn't mean you got the magic in the craft. Commentary is not creativity. So like a lot of people were like, oh, work on your YouTube, right? That was the mainland myth, right? Work on your YouTube, get good at YouTube. No, work on your fucking writing. Work on your craft. Work on understanding comics better. Work on seeing what works. Work on story structure. Work on character development, right? Because that's what's really going to matter. Because you can have like 1,000 subscribers and have a crappy book.
Absolutely.
Commentary is not creativity,
Look at the Critical Drinker.
Yeah.
The Critical Drinker made that comic for Zach called what's it called? One Man's War or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was garbage.
Commentary is not creativity. And we're finding that out.
This is a guy that commented on every movie. He's got a successful millions of views, and his comic was garbage. And I wonder if that's what caused this Zach's head to explode.
But there's a clash, right? So the clash is the commentary has the audience, right? And it comes down to a clash of promotion. So you have commentary who doesn't have the creativity, but doesn't want to promote the creativity because it conflicts with the audience. So why were you know what I mean? It's conflict of interest. So, yeah. But the customers are realizing, and I think that's where Dave was correct. And I think that was like the most important thing said in this stream is the connection with the audience is the most important thing, right? Because, like I said, commentary is not creativity,
right?
You know,
Right? So. Yeah, I totally agree. Oh, another thing is about Richard C. Meyer. Sorry to keep harping on him. Was Chuck Dixon handed him Sylvester Stallone? Here you go, Sylvester Stallone. Let's make comic books. Oh my God, that people in the mainstream were like, "What the f? These loony right wing Nazi YouTube crowdfunding guys are working with Sylvester Stallone." That really caused a ripple in the force. You know what I mean? And then he bombed it. He sat on that book for years, and people still didn't get the signed books, the hardcovers by Sylvester Stallone. And I don't know. I'm just that has got to have embarrassed Chuck Dixon.
That the Rambo brand,
right?
Sly's brand.
Yes, he had Rambo. I forgot about that. Jeez,
it was Rambo. No, yeah. I remember the Rambo cartoon with fonder memories. Remember that Rambo cartoon?
Yeah. Can you believe that in the 80s we actually had like Rambo cartoons for children?
I love we had Rambo cartoons.
We weren't pussies back in the 80s. We had RoboCop cartoons.
Alien. Did they have Alien one?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if they had an Alien cartoon, but RoboCop, Rambo's got an eagle flying next to him as he's shooting people with an arrow.
He had like a black dude and a chick in his team too, man. The squad, the hero squad or whatever it was, man.
If I'm friendly with Chuck Dixon, if he said, "Hey John, Longbox Comics, I got Rambo for you," you better believe I ain't going to sleep until that comic book comes out on time with everything. This is it. This is gonna make or break me. I got Rambo. This comic's gonna come out on time. It's gonna be drawn talking to the artist, guys. This is it. We got it. No, you got to step up. This is Sylvester Stallone. We're making, and then it still hasn't even finished delivering. What is going on? Make fun of insane party clowns. When you're a party clown, how does you had it handed to you. Not handed to you. You worked for it, and then he was given to. And then, man, did you stumble?
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, and again, I'm going to take criticism for saying this. If your highlight of your career is being a victim instead of creating the story, like, why are we surprised?
Oh my God, that is awesome. Now, if anybody's criticizing you, it's because they're the victim and they feel, like that meme. I feel
Zach's highlight was Mark Waid hated on him, right? It wasn't because he told such a great story. It was because he hated on him for his beliefs. That was his greatest accomplishment, right? It wasn't like, so when you say earned, like, wait, how was it earned? It was earned by that.
There you go. There's the clip. Katie Clips, clip that. Buy your meth for the week. There you go. Put that on Trashcast. Your highlight of your career is that you're a victim. Oh my God.
But yeah, that has a lot of that can trickle down. And then so we're talking about the highlight of the career, right? And then the output is putting out performance, right? As far as performance, right? It's okay. So why are we surprised when they don't perform as well? When they didn't earn the spot, they were a victim and awarded the spot.
Yeah,
it's almost like if we're really breaking shit down.
Yeah, that just blew me away. That just blew me away. That Richard, like I said, I always come off as a ranting lunatic, and you always come off as a wise sage. That was like, I climbed up on the mountain, and you and your beard and your barbecue and your underworld are sitting on the mountain, and you just said that if your career is based on victimhood, oh man, that was it. That's the fortune cookie right there.
Well, and then I also taught you about 2-zone grilling.
Yeah, so so practical and theoretical. Yeah,
steaks are not meant to be walked away from. And that was more important. I want you and your family to eat.
Yeah, let's be realistic. Right? The barbecue stuff is more important. Yes.
Yeah, that's how we feed our families, man.
But if your everything about you is that I'm a victim.
I was mistreated.
I'm a victim. I mean, that's SJW.
That's your highlight, bro.
That was your definition of left wing nonsense. You know what I mean? Trump was freaking shot. He doesn't talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's still talking about his accomplishments,
Mm-hmm.
You're absolutely right. Oh man, that blew me away. Every once in a while somebody says something that just just makes me
it's just seeing the outside, how really, like, how did people get to this position? How did people, and if you really like just follow the trail, that's what you find out, Like, here's the thing, like with Malin, right? He's an accomplished artist. He did a couple books in the mainstream, and then they forgot about him. His power came from Kickstarter kicking him out. So now he always has to remind you of Kickstarter, to remind you that he's a victim, to keep that control, to keep that, oh, this is what we're fighting for, right?
True.
Like, it wasn't like, oh my God, he's so amazing. He renegotiated with Marvel, and Marvel was like, oh, we can't afford him. And he said, F you guys, No, bro. He was voting for Obama, but became a victim, and now he wrote it. Like, if we're being honest.
Right. I'm a victim. Support me. I'm a victim. It's such, I hate the term, it's such SJW left-wing collectivist bullshit.
And it's when you find out these truths that the movement is not fun anymore. The movement is just power and control. It's not.
I'm a victim.
Organic.
It's no different than, it's no different than Zoe Quinn and what's her name, Anna Sarkeesian.
Yeah.
These men are attacking me. Crowdfund me. Yeah, absolutely right. So what have you accomplished? I liked Cyberfrog. I liked it. I'm not going to lie. I liked it enough to get issue number 2, but that ship has sailed. I bought Godlike, and it was my honest criticism. I was nice at first, and then the reaction to it caused me to become nasty, but it was poorly written. It made no sense. So stop being a victim.
See, with that, now we got to reinforce the victim.
Right.
Oh, I'm a victim of your jealousy, John.
Right. I was told he has to have an agenda. He's just mad because his comics aren't selling.
And look at your comic. Your comic, he's purple. Blah 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 blah. It's all reinforcing the main reason why you're here.
Yeah. Even Koala Boy. Oh, it's my favorite comic. It was made for me. What's the main character's name? I don't know.
Yeah.
No. It's.
That's what I said. It's like, so, but here's the thing: is a lot of people are waking up and the goggles are off, and they're seeing it. And a lot of these people, sadly, are customers that are just walking away. And so it's, it is what it is. But
well, I've seen people, Student of God and Geeky Borders, they put on Twitter. You see the super chats during Trashcast. They're like, I don't care about comics. I'm just here for the drama.
Which is fine if that's what you want your audience to be in, because but let's not like lie about it. It's true. Like, if that's what you want a Bloodstore's audience, I guess that's what it is. But it's at what cost? And this is the cost that you're paying. So if that was a calculated strategy, then it is what it is. But but yeah, I'm not surprised with Zach. He's always wanted to be mainstream. He's always wanted to be mainstream, bro. He's always wanted to be mainstream, man.
But I just don't understand. I try to understand it. Like, I can understand EBS's thinking. I can understand John Malin's thinking. I can understand Shane Davis's thinking. I can even understand Mandy Summers' thinking. Zach's thinking, I can't understand. It's really baffling. I don't understand his logic. Like, this was a guy who really was poised to I'm not going to say take over Marvel Comics, write Spider-Man or anything like that, but this was a guy who could have, maybe not the next Ninja Turtles or something like that, but he could have been like the next Love and Rockets and made a career, a comfortable career doing Jawbreakers. His next comic, all right, Iron Sights, all right, it needed some work, but that could have worked too. And that could have been his Brian Pulido, Lady Death and whatever the other characters, back and forth. Those could have been his, but instead he was doing all of these responses to Mags Visaggio. What the F? I just don't. And then fumbling the Sylvester Stallone franchise. That is just here you go, Richard. You want Star Wars? Here, you got Star Wars. Then you sit on it for 7 years and not deliver it. You know what? I don't understand.
Yeah, it's
Savage Ed, another awesome beard.
Yeah,
agree. Just because someone was wrong, other people wrong, that doesn't make the victim. Yeah. Do you want to be known as a victim? I don't even like when people super chat me. I get embarrassed. I can understand why the only thing EBS can finish is that whole pie. That's funny. I don't know who this is. Fugel from Black Clover. Being weak is nothing to be ashamed of. Staying weak is. Yeah. I'm not gonna say I wasn't ever a victim in my life, but I don't talk about it. I don't want people to know.
It wasn't your highlight though. It's not your highlight.
Right? I got jumped up once. I don't.
My highlight would be this in comics, right? There's like this dude had a $5 comic and actually delivered it, and really didn't raise that much money. So that you can highlight it as, oh, he's terrible at business, or you can highlight it as like, wow, he presents value, or you can highlight it as like, wow, he's investing to try to build a new audience at his own money. Whatever you want to highlight it as, but at least I'm not a victim. Like, as much as these people that from CG want to like try to attack and take little shots at me from here, shots at me from here, and this and that. Like, at least I was that's not my greatest highlight.
We're betting clipped. We just made a mortgage for somebody in New Jersey for the month because this is gonna be clipped. This is gonna be trash cast. You know that. But you're welcome. A thank you would be nice. But who cares?
My comic book would be nice, that I paid for.
Well, that doesn't even matter. I don't care. I'm not a customer anymore. It doesn't matter. But they were never my customers anyway. So say whatever you want. It doesn't affect.
That's where people realize it. People that like me and you, we realize that was always his customers. So I expect that from his customers. You realize that. I realize that. There's people out there that refuse to realize that because they're scared. They're scared little creators, and they have to stay within that, But like I said, if you're having fun being scared, or you're having fun doing that, then do it. I don't,
I know my backer numbers, because everybody makes the big wigs charge $35 for a comic book. I can't charge $35 a comic book. Plus, I have a little bit of integrity, and again, I'm not dependent upon comic books to pay my bills. Or YouTube. Can you imagine being dependent upon YouTube to pay your bills? Jeez, they're canceling people's.
That's a dancing monkey. You got to do whatever the algorithm says. I never wanted to be a dancing monkey.
Right. Yeah.
For YouTube algorithm.
I got a little bit more
good at dancing and have a rhythm to do that. I'm not one of them. So
all of my problems have been I spoke my mind. I criticized Ripper. I got crap for that, although not really. Crap. Just a couple of fans were disappointed, and I criticized Comicsgate, and it was like insulted a religion. And again, the Ripper fans, when I criticized Ripper, they were like, "Oh, it's got so much better. I'm going to send you a comic book. Let's talk about this. Come on my channel." And I see your point, and I understand that. But it was love for the comic, and it was old school. Oh, you don't like Batman? They didn't take it personal, But this is why Batman's so much better than Spider-Man, and it turned into a fun talk, and these guys won me over. The other guys, I insulted their dogma, I insulted their religion, I insulted their personal identity, I insulted their victimhood. Now you got me thinking like that. They became a victim, and now me criticizing it is insulting the fact that they are victims. I kicked a victim while they were down.
You understand, the victimhood is attached to the wallet.
Oh man, that
the victimhood is attached to the wallet. If we're really breaking shit down, the victimhood is attached to the wallet.
Oh, could you imagine I don't want to get that dark, but like a woman that was assaulted, and then I criticized her. Why were you wearing a dress that short? I'm a cad. I'm the worst, and I deserve all the. So that's what I did. Now it makes sense. I criticized a group of victims, and that's why they were so nasty to me. Oh. Thanks, Richard. You really enlightened me today. You're the Buddha of independent comics.
I'm just a $5 man that sees outside the game.
$5 Buddha. That's the name of your company, $5 Buddha.
Here's the thing, bro. I grew up with not the most safest people around, right? I've seen. I know the game. I know manipulation. I know all that. I know intimidation. I know that this is when you see stuff like that growing up. You're around stuff, and then you see this, and like, oh, this is just this, but sloppily played. Because the people I seen it play at the highest levels, and they were really good at it, bro, and very dangerous people, you know. And it's like people, it's like, hi, bye, let me get away from you because I don't want to get caught up in any of the things you're doing. So with that said, it's like you see, you're aware of how things are how people are maneuvering. So it's, you know, it's really easy to spot out. It's just bringing light to it, you know.
How dare you insult me? I'm a victim, aren't you? Don't you realize you just criticized a victim? It makes so much sense now. Oh my God, my mind is blown. My mind is absolutely it everything just came into focus. You know, yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's the power. You know, Anna Sarkeesian was able to do everything she could because she would silence any sort of attack on her grift by I'm a victim here. I'm a victim here.
You experienced it, John, because like here's the thing, here's how it's played out. How dare you criticize him? You're just a hobbyist. This is how he feeds his family. How dare you criticize his comic book? You're not a customer. You're hurting this man's family. Don't you care about this man?
Out of the mainstream for his
he was kicked out of the mainstream. How dare you insult him? How dare you, John? Just because you have a job, you can be comfortably. You're trying to destroy him. You're trying to. How dare you? You can't criticize it, you know.
Oh man!
Now he can't even afford refunds. How dare you, John?
Yeah,
you're a fucking villain.
Yeah. I have to laugh because the two biggest criticisms for me is I'm broke.
You drained your 401k.
Yeah.
You know what? Do you want him to do that?
I just have to laugh because it also, I when I was out of work, I was like, okay, I got $6,000 outstanding on a 401k loan for a car. I'll default that and I'll pay the $600 taxes. Guys, it shows me how broke you guys are if you think $6,000 is all that a guy like me has in his 401k. You know what I mean? I've been putting away $800 a week for 22 years. Yeah. $6,000, geez, that's like a vacation me and my wife take every year. You know, knock it off. That shows me how broke you go. And the other criticism, I'm a Jew now. Did you know that?
You are?
Yeah, they've been making fun of me, calling me because I know how 401ks work, so I know a little bit about finances. So I guess that means I'm Jewish, which is it's because that to me shows me that you guys don't understand how finances and 401ks and defaults and taxes and stuff like that work. And now, who can't pay their legal fees and who can't refund people? You know, not the broke Jew over here. By the way, I'm Roman Catholic. Yeah, that was boy.
Hell yeah. Hey, yeah. You know what? That's good news. So when we do make those hot dogs, I could wrap them in bacon. I was kind of worried about that.
Bacon's awesome. Bacon's awesome. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got these when I got the Omaha steaks. I got these filet mignons wrapped in bacon.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't cook them on the grill because I didn't want to ruin them. So I cooked them on my skillet. They were awesome.
But you know what? Just to like wrap this and end this up.
Yeah. I got to get going.
I would say this. It's what's disappointing is yes, they started as a victim, but they could. You had the audience, you had the attention, finish the books, make them better, make them like you. It was, even though it was given to you, you had a position to where you can make this a lot better. And for a little bit of time, it seemed like you were. You know, a lot of these people seemed like they were making it better, but it's just when it came to hey, get better at being creative instead of YouTubing, I felt like they failed, and it's you know, but. And that I'm sad about that as well because it could have been a lot better than what it is.
Yeah,
you know? And,
such a disappointment.
Yeah, but hey, man, at the end of the day, comments ain't gonna stop. Independent creators who are literally on the in the conventions selling comics right now.
Here's Matt right here.
Yeah,
Matt's doing the right thing. Stopped being on Twitter, focusing on his work. You know, he's got like 4 projects on the pipe right now. You know, I'm hoping me and Matt work on something. Matt, I got more stories for you. If you're willing, email me. Let's talk about it. I you know, just I said it. Shut up and produce. Shut up and produce, everybody. You know, I got enough stories written out for artists now that I could publish literally for the next 7 years at the rate that we're going. You know, I could stop right now and still go on for another 7 years.
Yeah.
But I'm challenging myself to get another comic out. Super nuts in a year.
Do it.
Oh, good. I'm so glad Matt said that. I'm so glad. Matt has like intimidating talent. You know what I mean? Like Matt's done a couple of pages. He's done a couple of logos. He's done a couple of things for me before. And it's, you know, and it's funny because I think since he worked with like, you know, professionals, he's got that like old school, like if he doesn't like something, he doesn't sugarcoat it. I'm like, I'm sorry, Matt. You know what I mean? So I get a little intimidated by him, you know. So I'm so glad he says he likes it.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
Yeah, I think it would be fun. He was streaming live. Matt, if I'm not allowed to say this, stop me now. But he was streaming live, and I was working on a Sunday, and I just hopped on my phone and went live. And I'm talking to him, and I'm in an electrical closet, and I'm just talking to him about comic books, and Matt's looking at all the piping and everything behind me. So now he's asking me to explain everything, and I'm like, oh yeah, normal people don't go into electrical closets, you know, construction sites. So I'm, you know, and he's like, can we do that in a comic book? Like, what are you talking about? I don't want to do. I want to make a comic book to get away from this stuff. You know what I mean? You know, this is work. I don't want to do work in a comic book. So he dropped another idea, and I'm like, I can work with that. So I wrote him a story, and I was waiting. As I said, I'm like, he's gonna trash this story. He's gonna beat me up and tell me this. And he liked it. Yep, there we go. Our machine elves.
That's funny, man. That's cool, man.
So we're working on something, and then I was like, well, what are we gonna do with it? You know. So Matt said, how about an anthology? So I was like, all right, I got like 4 or 5 sci-fi stories. How about we make like an oversized sci-fi black and white, you know, you will make it look like Mad Magazine stuff. Because that was one of Matt's rules. Is I pitched him a story that was way too dark for Matt. Matt's like, I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. You know, I'll write a dark story. I'll write a lighthearted story. You know, my goal is to be like Mike Barron. You know, if you want me to do something, I'll give it to you. That's I got 30 years before it could be like Mike Barron. Yeah, I came out of the closet. I came out. I don't worry. You can have the whole closet to yourself on. Black and white. Yeah, exactly. Me and Matt are on the same page. Me and Matt are on the same page. The only thing I'm trying to come up with the title. If you got a title, you know, something like a weird science, fun science, bizarre science, you know, and we'll keep it sci-fi. I got
Closet
4 stories.
Science.
I got what's that?
Closet science.
Clients out of the closet.
It came from out of the closet.
It came from out of the closet. Yeah. Same closet keeps his closet.
Oh yeah.
I like this. Everybody's goofing on each other. That's funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anything else you want to say? I'm off today, so I'm just rattling.
I'm just.
I'm doing is delaying rewriting this script that I wrote myself into a corner last night and had to go to bed.
Yeah. No, I'm just having a good time, man. The year started off good. Comics gonna get fulfilled in April, and you know, just having fun, man, and just, you know, just conversating with like-minded indie creators. It's always a good time, man. Comics are gonna continue to come out, whether, you know, whatever happens, you know. So
yeah, I was in I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was the atmosphere, but I was like livid from all through January. I don't know why. I think the politics, the world politics is getting on me. So I purposely limited Twitter. Like I just started blocking people. I you know, you offer me nothing. And then YouTube, I unfollowed a couple of channels that are just drama channels. And I have actively avoided the news. You know, the news is just the worst. So I just go to work. Me and the guys bullshit at work. It's fun. And then the schedule, I'm working 3 to 11. So it's like my whole life is just work these days. You know, you don't really get to hang out with people, you know.
I hear you.
So I've just been in like a just livid mood. I purposely didn't want to talk to anybody because I'm afraid I was going to say something mean and then have to apologize. So but I don't know what it is. Like about a week ago, I'm like, things are great. Renzo's like he's about halfway done with the comic. Oscar's excited he's doing our side project. Tonic Bowl is handing in pages, Stippling Vaughn, you got to see the pages that he's doing for one of my stories. Oh my God. Luke, Luke was doing another project. Now he's coming back to work on my project. Man, it's going to be a good year. I think this is a good year for Longbox Comics. And with Force Publishing, that's the name of your company.
Yeah. ForcePublishing.com. You can, if you wanted to check out, anyone wanted to check it out, you can check it out. Digital comics, like you can literally buy it, get it, download it, read it, enjoy it, feedback it.
Right, Matt.
It's just fun, man.
Matt Barr is 100% correct. The best defense is just fulfill your books. Fulfill your books. If you're a comic book, now, if your product is drama, fulfill your drama. But if your product is comics, fulfill your comics. Shut up and produce. Man, did I catch hate when I said that. Just shut up and produce. But that was telling too, because these guys can't shut up because they can't produce. Mm-hmm. Don't forget, smiling in pictures is a big problem. Smiles, handshakes, chicken biscuits, it's all no problem.
The list of offenses.
The only thing I don't want to, and I'm not willing to go to the loader. I don't know. I don't recommend that. Don't visit anybody. Don't go to anybody's houses. Don't. The internet is fake and gay. Keep it, just keep it fake and gay. Don't do anything in real life. Don't get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, don't even let yourself get mad at it. Just, find something else that's fun,
Oh, Pity Ma. Hey, I haven't seen Pity Ma in a while. Hey, John, nice to catch you live today. What's on the horizon for you? I finally got time to read Heroic Tales 2. I hope you liked it. I hope you like it. I'm trying to start out lighthearted, and I want to draw you into the darkness, of my world. It's going to get pretty dark pretty quick. Nothing that you can't. I don't know. I'll be quiet. But anyway, my channel is weird right now because there's 3 to 11 schedule. So today was a day off. So I had Richard. I'm scheduling a few people, but for the most part, it's going to be me streaming at midnight. And if you want to hop on. Mm-hmm. I don't even care. Yeah. At what point does it become apathy? If you're making a product and people don't care about your product anymore, that is the absolute worst. I think not caring is worse than hating.
Yeah. I think with your channel, with streaming at midnight, you can do like just that would actually be cool to read a run, like one issue a night, and almost like a midnight comic book reading session.
Because Sundays I do Sunday comics. Like yesterday, I've been doing the John Byrne, Chris Claremont X-Men, one comic a week. But that's a good idea because I'm itching to do the
have everyone read the book and come on there, like whatever issue it is.
That is a really good idea.
Talk about it throughout the week.
So tomorrow night, I might as well announce this, and we got a lot of people. I was thinking of let's create a character. I did this like somebody, I forget the name of the channel. I wish I could give them the proper credit, but they just challenged each other to come up with weird characters. So the rules were you come up with a name, power set, a weakness, but you can only pick 2 of those. So I would like to do that, but I'd like to do it for serious. Like, so they came up with goofy characters on the fly. And I watched this, and me being a crazy person, I was like, that would be a great character. That would be. So I asked them if I could show, I never do EFAP. This was my first and only EFAP. I EFAP them, stopped the video, and talked about my versions of their characters. And it was a lot of fun, and I'd like to do it again. So tomorrow at midnight, open invite, come up with either a name, a power, or a weakness. Pick, so a name, a power, a weakness. You pick 2 of those 3, and then I'll try to come up with the character on the fly, and like an interesting character. Like anybody could come up with Idiot Man or Potato Salad Man, or you know what I mean. But try to come up with like a viable, sellable character. I think this would be fun. Like, because one of those characters I'm actually writing a story about. So that'll be tomorrow at midnight. What should I call that? Character creation, brainstorm? I don't know.
That could be the character out of the closet.
out of the closet with Vaughn Coleman. Whether he's here or not, that's what it's called. Out of the Closet with Vaughn Coleman.
That would be hilarious. Every night you're just like, we apologize for Vaughn not being there. He did not make it out of the closet, but we're out of the closet for this amazing show.
All of a sudden, I was about to close it down, and all of a sudden the comments started going nuts. So let's see what everybody's saying. Honestly, don't think, and if you have to go, you could go, Richard. I don't want to keep you here.
I'll go for a little bit.
Don't think it'd be good at this point if the story creator wants to tell I get what you're saying. My wife is making fun of me. She goes, "You're babbling now." But I got ideas. And I want to write 6 stories simultaneously. Like last night while writing the story that I'm writing now, and the only reason I'm writing the story now is I challenged myself to get it done quick, but I got another idea. My wife came down from a Bible study and she gave me an idea. And then I watched a video about King Arthur and that gave me and I got these forks. I wish I was like an octopus. Like, how can you not put out a comic for 5 years? Don't you love this stuff? Isn't it fun? Yeah. The longer it takes to produce a book, how much do you really care about the story anyway? Well, I understand real world life gets in the way, but come on, it's already bought and paid for. The major obstacles are already over. I got my book sequel, my stuff with John Long, plus I'm doing something with Bob Burden and Doc. Oh, nice.
That's cool.
Am I allowed to speculate? Is this Flaming Carrot? That would be awesome. That'd be cool. And I'm so glad that he says my stuff with John Long. I got like 4 or 5 more stories for you, Matt.
Cool, man.
I got to be watching those. I love that run. Yeah, Sunday Comics. And I also want to do Avengers 150 to 200. Maybe I'll do that, the midnight streams.
That'd be cool.
That's a great run. I was working, otherwise I would have been there for that. The Wolfman.
That's another one I bought on digital. That was able to get and enjoy. Like you can't, you probably can get the trade, but digital was right there. I didn't have to pay for shipping. It's boom.
That's another thing. I hear Vaughn saying that he's reading Wolfman Teen Titans for the first time. I'm just like, but that's like a classic. And then I remember he's only 16 years old. So I forget that young kids didn't get a chance to read. I want to get Gymshark because the principles, even as trash, I paid for it, so I want it. And when I asked for a refund, she told me, "Oh, it's printing. It's in public. You're not getting a refund." So I want it. And so I said, "Okay, well, I have to read it because I read every comic book I buy, and I'm going to do a review on it." So it's best to give me a refund because I'm going to be truthful. Clobber Time Illustrated sounds fun. I've been reading Old Daredevil. Yeah, those are so classic.
Great run.
Potato Salad Man. Does he have apples and raisins? The good version has the apples. The evil version has the raisins. Vaughn Coleman's laughing. Coleman's Closet. There we go.
That's it.
Get Saved Ignorant. What does that mean? Okay. I'm currently writing multiple stories. Me too. Oh, you are doing Flaming Carrot. Cool. I'm sorry if I said something I shouldn't have said, but when I heard the name Bob Burden, that's the first thing I thought of. Right up my alley. 20-year vet of the contest, can't finish your foot. Yeah, I know. Born Again or a different one. Yeah, there's 2 great Daredevil runs. Right? Yeah. It's the original run that doesn't get enough credit, and then there's the Born Again run. Well, the original one. What am I talking about? They both get credit. Vaughn does appearances on the show from behind his closet. Behind the closet. That's even
behind the closet.
Yeah. What do you think? My wife's teasing me, calling me babbling man.
All right. To wrap it up, man.
There's a reason why I limit these to an hour.
Yeah.
But we've been talking for 2.5 hours. But I enjoy talking to you. Haven't a long time.
Yeah.
We're slowly morphing into the same person.
I know, huh? That's gonna be good for Trash Cast. Like, look, they're becoming I don't know, John. Well, it's funny because my brother's name is John.
Oh,
yeah. So
this week, John's dog box is talking to Richard Embree. Super chat me. There you go. A thank you would be nice. A thank you for helping pay your bills would be nice once in a while. Maybe I'll talk more about you if you thanked me. You're making me feel not welcome. Yeah.
It should all go to refund money because that's what he's having trouble with.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
But each his own, man. I'm having fun.
Yeah. Ethan, Shane, and Mel melting together like the creature from The Thing.
That's them, man. All right, John, I got to get going, man.
Yeah, I got to get going too. I want to finish this. Like it's like I got a 3-day weekend, and I said I would finish this story, and it's just not working. It's just not working. I got to start all over again. But thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks a lot for showing up. Richard, I apologize. You were supposed to come on Saturday, and I just forgot all about it. So I'm glad that we were able to make it up today.
Yeah, man, I totally forgot about it too, bro. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Hail the chat, everybody. And Matt, this is going to sound mean, but I don't mean it to be mean. I'm kind of grateful that Lord Raptor Jesus is not, because it just puts that whole world out of my mind. You know, even laughing at the lolcows is participating, and I don't even want to participate anymore. Like Richard C. Meyer was right when he said all it takes is 2 weeks to break a habit. You know, so rear view mirror, guys. You know,
I still like Raptor Stream.
Work, great hanging, cool.
Raptor Stream makes me feel normal. Like, oh, okay, there are people. It's like a AA meeting for me, Raptor Stream. So it's like, oh, there's people out there that do feel.
I watch for the what do they call it? The intros.
Mm-hmm.
The Katie did and the Mandy intros. I still, the first time I saw that Mandy intro, the song that he used, oh my God, I almost wet my pants.
Yeah.
That's devastating. That's oh my God.
I think it's gonna be on Rumble though. So
yeah, again, Raptor Jesus, Wiggle, all those guys panned. They've been nothing but nice. I kind of glad. I don't want to even laugh at it anymore. I want to forget about it. It's irrelevant. And these guys, you know, they've been nothing but good for me. You know, I want to make that absolutely clear. I think of them as good, fun guys. They're laughing all the time. They're joking and laughing, but like, it's still keeping it alive. Like just ignore it. Like, don't even mention it anymore. They you know, like digging it up and holding it up and showing everybody, and then picking it up and showing everybody. You know, it's still giving it attention. You know, I think there's levels. Apathy is the absolute death of it all. Just don't even care anymore. Don't talk about it. Ignore it. Who cares? You know, and then 5 years from now, like archaeologists come back with a little brush.
Yeah. I would say this though. I think Raptor, Pan, Wiggle, and Matt have really engaging conversations that you could actually learn as a creator, because they're talking about what customers are thinking. Like that's that customer market insight of why these customers aren't around and what these customers are thinking. And I think it makes, for me, listening to that is great advice, because it makes me a better salesman. I have more insight.
More important than that, they're entertaining and funny.
That too.
It is fun. Like I get the feeling from the Lord Raptor Jesus, the newscast, that I used to get from all the CG stuff. Like it does feel like it's a little bit more. You know what? Now that I was about to say it's a little bit more mean spirited, but you know what? CG was mean spirited too. You know, now that I think about it, now that I'm a step or two away looking back, but it's kind of funny. And man, these guys they never forget anything. They're witty. And like somebody makes a joke, and the next thing you know, they got a 4-minute video about it, and I'm pissing my pants laughing. It's so freaking funny, you know. And it's good to laugh.
You can learn a lot as a creator. I think you can learn a lot of where this movement misstepped and see every misstep, so you can understand the psyche of the customers more, can understand indie comics more, and can understand, you know, and not so much like go there and, you know, promote, but you really get a crash course in what the damage that crowdfunding has.
The main misstep is you crystallize it tonight. $5 Buddha is making me realize it was victim based. Yeah. And it's so obvious in hindsight that I'm mad that I didn't notice that. But like, you know, Comicsgate, there was a reaction to Gamergate, which, you know, first off, anything gate is gay. Knock it off with the gates. It's over. It's stupid. It's cringy. Just stop with the gates. Come up with a new name for your movie.
Got milk thing. Everyone said got this, got that. Yeah. So
you know, it's so. But like, it should have been like, okay, we got canceled, and now we're gonna show you. And look, you pull back the curtain and there's a Ferrari, there's a Lamborghini, there's, freaking Trans Am, there's a classic, Ford Model K that's been souped up. And look at all these products. Don't you want to be part of us? Don't you want to be part of this? But instead, it's, I'm a victim. You hurt me. I'm a victim. Look, you hurt my feelings. You threw me to the side. No, the way to win was to freaking drive up in that Lamborghini and show off that Ferrari and get this new comic book, get that made, get that toy made. Yeah. Everything Rip is doing.
Yeah.
That's the way to win. That's the way to win. And they lost. That's so when did they go astray? When it because Captain Cummings was never a victim. I'm trying to think of the original guys. And I'm trying to
they were just frustrated. They wanted something different.
Once
it
became a victim movement, oh my God!
Which I still think that spirit lives in Raptors' audience. That's where we're frustrated, and this is what we're frustrated about, and we're gonna laugh and have a good time at it because we didn't get the books, so I need to get paid somehow.
Right? Yeah.
And so that's where I understand it, but that's like the main thing of it. But you're also learning as a creator how customers are thinking, when they felt disrespected, what are things they could have done different. And if you're really listening, they're telling you everything you need to know, or at least a lot of things that you probably didn't know, which I think is
I bought Zalen. It was okay, but I got it on time in my house physically. That's way more. Yeah. What's better to get? My wife and I went to the new Shake Shack that just opened on the corner. We got lukewarm burgers. You know what I mean? And what's worse, the lukewarm burgers or paying the money and not getting the burgers at all? Can you imagine we went to Shake Shack, gave them the money, sat down, and they're like, "We don't have burgers." That's the way to do business.
But you go on Yelp, and you're like, "Man, I didn't get my burgers." I'm like, "You're attacking my family."
Right? How dare you? Oh my God!
Attacking my family. How dare you?
My family. You're funding my lifestyle.
Yeah,
dude.
It wasn't a burger. This was a crowd fund.
Deliver the mail. Learn to code. What do you want me to do about that? I don't care about you. I honestly don't care about your family. Sorry. I don't care. Poor family. All that makes me do is think less of you. You got to betray your own principles, act like a dancing monkey because you got a family. Man, can you imagine, Richard? You're my generation. Can you imagine your dad changing his opinions and hopping to the crowd rather than just going out and getting a job? You'd be like, "Dad, what are you doing? I'm gonna dye my beard and hang out with whores rather than get it." Shut up. Go get a job. I remember my dad, they were on strike. He went down and didn't miss a day, went down to the docks, and was unloading ships, because he had 7 kids to feed. He didn't beg the boss, "I'll wash your car. Just tell me what you want me to say. Get on my knees." He did what he had to do.
Yeah.
Victim.
It is what it is, man.
That's I'm putting your name in my contacts as the $5 Buddha.
As a Christian man, I don't know how I feel about that, but I like the $5 part.
Well, I would like to think. Now here's where we'll get attacked. I imagine that there's a table somewhere in the ether of all the religious figures. There's Jesus, there's Buddha, there's Muhammad, there's John Smith, and I imagine Jesus and Buddha are probably hanging out at one side of the table, like chilling, and then Muhammad says something, and Jesus and Buddha just ignore him. He'll go away. He'll shut up. Out of all the religious figures, Jesus, Buddha, everything in moderation. Don't here's look at all Jesus was killed, and it's not like I'm a victim. He's like, I did this to save you all. You know what I mean? This is a guy who couldn't cry victim. And then we got Buddha, who was like, I'm going to eat some pork because I don't want to insult my guest, and then that's going to kill me because he's so polite. I got no problem with Buddha. Out of all the religious guys, Buddha and Jesus, everybody else was a mass murdering piece of crap, if you ask me, or con man at the best. You know who I'm talking about, but I don't want to alienate some people in my audience. So there you go. I like to think that Jesus would have no problem with Buddha. That's what I like to think.
The cookout. The cookout.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys.
Muhammad's like, don't put any Moses and Muhammad like, could you not put any bacon on that burger? And Buddha's just like, oh, you could put bacon on one of those? I'll try one of those.
Bacon burgers are the best, man.
All right. Now my wife is upstairs rolling her eyes, I'm sure. All right.
All right.
Shout out yourself one more time and then we'll get going.
Yeah, forcepublishing.com. And you find me at the Devil from Talon Flats on Fund My Comic, man. If you want to support, go support. Only $5, guaranteed to deliver. And I had a lot of fun making these comics. Stressful though, but it's
a good stress.
Yeah,
it's a fun stress
because I care. I care if it comes out. I care about my name. I care about the comic. I care about your money. I care about that. It's just simple. So.
Yeah,
so check it out.
I asked you. I don't know if you answered. So you got a fantasy comic, you got a Western comic. Mm-hmm. Are you going to do others? Like, are you going to do like a sci-fi or a superheroes or anything like that?
I really want to, but it's just finding the money to do so. Finding the money, finding the time, and finding. I want to say the route to make sure that it comes out. That's where it comes in. To play. As much as I have all the ideas in the world, but I only have limited routes to, like you said, get it. Because it's not about raising money. It's about delivering it. Like, how am I going to deliver that reasonably? Right. So that's where if I can reasonably deliver this is what I'm going to focus on. Because that's what really matters. That's like reality. That's the real world. It getting into someone's hands.
All right. So at that, we'll say goodbye, kids, to everybody. And bye-bye, everybody. Thanks a lot. Check out Rogue Tales is still available on Fund My Comics. Fund My Comics, you could also get Richard's books. All right.
Handle it.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
Goodbye, kids.